Yes, that's right, main female protagonist. I do need you to go to this location. What? You're calling me the asshole? Hi, I'm Sparks Whitty. We're here on the Fake Nerd Podcast, episode 248, to talk about two things where that situation is relevant to both. And it's Gunpowder Milkshake and Something is Killing the Children. We're doing it today. I'm here with Ryan Eliopoulos.
It's me. We're going to find out what killed those children.
And Brandon T. McClure.
Hello.
And Ben Magnet.
So I've actually tried a Gunpowder Milkshake. Wouldn't recommend it.
I'm sure it's like chalky in the throat. Yeah.
It's very chalky. It's it's got this weird, like just disgusting flavor to it. It's just like, I wouldn't. Stay away. Just stick with.
I've had gunpowder explode in my face.
Oh, no.
Thing.
Seriously? Or is it a bit?
That's a bit.
Okay.
Brandon, aficionado of guns, Ben. Clear.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the only person I
Could
think here
have been a firework blowing up.
The only person on this podcast I think I believe that comment from is this one.
Hey, what's up?
Because he comes from Texas.
I'm dangerous and from the South.
I was just thinking about, for whatever reason, when Ben was talking about Gunpowder Milkshake, I was just thinking about how all the pirate movies have a scene where they have to pour some gunpowder to some bigger gunpowder barrels to make it a big boom.
They didn't. They have the pre-gasoline, pre-dinosaurs. There you go.
Do they all have that?
What?
I mean, my memory of them is they do, but I haven't seen them in a while.
A lot of sticks with like dynamite and like Just watch those pirates movies.
I want to look this up.
I mean, I want to watch them all again. I weirdly, guys, gotta stop me. You guys got to stop me because I have had a hankering to watch Transformers: The Last Night.
Don't.
And I don't know why.
Brandon, you watch things all the time. I can't stop you. Like I can't stop you with this one if you want
Brandon,
to do it.
I know, I will literally text you. You'll be like, "You're right," and the next day you'll be like, "I watched it," and I'll be like, "I don't even know why I talked."
If you want to watch it, just watch it. Like
it's not available on a streaming service, and I don't feel like renting it. I'm good for now.
At least you stopped yourself. That's good.
Yeah.
Just watch the pitch meeting.
Oh yeah, let's watch the YouTube pitch meeting.
Now remind you. That's why I don't want to watch it because that was I did that for Pirates 5, and I was like, wow, I really never want to see that movie ever again.
I do want to watch Pirates 2 again, though.
Okay,
Pirates 2 is not the same as Pirates 5.
No, I'm just saying we're on Pirates. What were you saying, Ben?
I was gonna say, Brandon, you and I saw last night the Transformers last night once in theaters. That was enough.
I think I always.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Transformers: The Last Night is the only movie in my life I've ever seen by myself.
Oh, I used to go to the movies all the time. So.
Yeah,
I saw Fast 9 by myself. Nope, 2 movies I saw by myself. Fast 9 and
I guess I need to clarify: no friends and no buddy.
Yeah.
An empty theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Like absolutely alone, and I was like, this is a sad experience.
I retract my statement. The only movie that's happened for me was Valerian, the City of a Thousand Planets, and I only counted because the two guys who were also in the movie theater with me got up and walked out like 15 minutes in.
Well, that's their loss. They missed Rihanna.
What was the movie that I watched where? Oh, Boss Baby 2. I went to see Boss Baby 2, and people walked out of that theater. I was like, did you guys not know what you went to see?
Seriously?
I did. Well, anyway, we had links in the description, guys. There's links in the description. We didn't. This was a slow week for the Fake Nerd Podcast. People's, just everything is whatever. But we had a Black Widow episode last week where we talked about the newest MCU film, Black Widow. That review, just Black Widow, exists as its own video. I've linked that below. And if you just want to listen to the Black Widow stuff, watch the Black Widow review. That's there.
My God, is so strong.
Ryan,
hey,
did it downright annoyed earlier today.
I sure did, and we talked about a 1983 sci-fi movie called The Ice Pirates, and that is a well-known, really bad movie that I think over time has gotten a little more love. It's a super low-budget, very cheesy, riff off Star Wars and Dune, but really tongue-in-cheek and fun. I had a really good time with it. It's super dated. It's really offensive at times. They use the N-word in the movie, which it blew me out of the water. You guys came out of nowhere. This is like a Star Wars movie, and then they say it. I'm like, wow, man, the 80s sucks. So besides that, I thought it was a pretty good time. That's a movie where I'm like, oh man, they could remake that movie and it'd actually be really cool. I think the idea is cool. Water in the galaxies, there's no more water, so they're ice pirates. I think it's a cool idea. So that's what I did.
So that's linked below. You can check out that. Ryan I did tune in. You were a floating head. You were an actor in that movie.
I picked a good green screen background with all the characters, and then it was just my head, so I became the main character. Green screen technology. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
I think the Loki episode 6 video also will be similarly funny for this reason.
Yeah.
But the non-retinoids are really hilarious right now because of Ryan's new green screen suit.
Thank you, Amazon.
Just seeing his and just seeing what he does with the green screen is actually pretty funny, because there are times, because obviously when we were recording in the middle of the day, it was warm, and then Ryan just kept taking sips, and my brain it looked like his cup was floating, honestly, and I had to keep telling him, like, no, it's not floating, it's just the green screen suit that he's wearing.
You missed last week where he came out of the rhinoceros butt from Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I missed it, but I think he told me he was going to do that. Because when I came over to the house, he came down wearing his suit. He was like, look at me.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
Stay tuned. Not anytime soon, because like I'm actually gonna like put effort into these videos. So like stay tuned in the future for more green.
There's more stuff coming.
More stuff coming. Yeah.
Nice. All right, but that's all the links down below. So who wants to go first of the week?
I'll go. I played Avengers and I played Fortnite. I also played a little bit more Transformers Devastation. Only like 30 minutes, not super far. I played mostly Ghost Rider because that's the game that I'm working on a video for. That game's totally fine. It's not like the worst game I've ever played, which makes it even worse because like boring games are almost sometimes worse than like really bad games, because at least there's like you can make fun of it. So I did that.
Like movies in that way.
It's exactly like movies, except like I got to do this for hours. Besides that, I did some stuff with you, I think. Barely. But I'll talk about that stuff with you. The two things we did together.
Sure.
Besides that, yeah, it's mostly, my comfort games, Avengers and stuff. I played a lot of Black Widow this week because I was, a movie came out and shit.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll just piggyback off that because I also don't have a lot. Work is busy, and busy is work, and busy is me.
That is life.
And again, this week was a lot of travel for me because of work, but also going down to Escondido again to be with my sister-in-law and the nephew because of his sleep regression, then picking Megan back up because she was there for a few days, and whole thing.
Sorry, I got some tattoos.
You did get tattoos.
That's what I spend most of my Saturday doing, is getting tattoos.
I was about to say, you can see the Court of Owls one right there.
Yeah. I got two. I got two babies. That's all.
Nice.
But anyway, aside from those things, hey Luna, go lay down. Sorry. I got to watch some Shark Week. Nowhere near the amount that I wanted to, but it's okay.
Shark Day. Because
I bought Discovery Plus for a month, so I got time to get into my Shark Week.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to be an issue.
Anything interesting about Shark Week? I always like asking you this every year. Anything interesting that you've seen so far?
So literally, like, the thing I'm anticipating the most came out last night, and Megan and I haven't gotten to watch it yet. And it's the follow-up on those two killer whales, Port and Starboard, who were killing all the great whites off South Africa.
Their names are Port and Starboard?
Yeah, because their fins are the up, left, and right. They bend. And the weird thing about them is that neither of these orcas, there's no record of them ever being in captivity, which is generally how their fins get bent.
Yeah.
So no one knows why they're like that.
So they're just wild murderers.
To them. Yeah, they're wild. They're wild serial killers.
They're the Bonnie and Clyde of the
It's
the ocean.
really cool. It's like yo,
that's really cool. No, really,
like marine biology right now.
Like
what's going on with great white sharks down in South Africa? The whole just like South Africa marine biome is like insane.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I really want to watch that special. Jackass did a special. So Jackass did a Shark Week. Pontius got in the water as a matador with a red cape and got bull sharks to charge him.
Amazing.
Here's the thing. So I only briefly want to talk about it, but so on Jackass, like they go out there with a marine biologist, and he's like, "You are literally doing everything I told you not to do to get to not have the sharks attack you," and they're doing it anyway because they're being dumbasses.
Jackasses.
And I do think that this was always the plan, but what happens, what I'm about to say about the ending, but what happens before that is that on one of the stunts, one of them does get attacked by a bull shark pretty severely. He's fine, but it's weird because on Shark Week, you usually see recreations, if anything, of any kind of shark attack. You don't usually see they always leave you like, oh, this could be like NASCAR. Maybe he's going to crash. Maybe the shark's going to get, it never happens. It never, ever happens. Well, it happened this time. And you actually see the shark like completely go after him and everything. And it was all caught live, and they insisted on like having the full thing in there and the whole medical emergency of it. And I think that was probably valuable in a sense of like showing, yeah, they were stupid. Yeah. And they acknowledged like, yeah, we don't blame. They made a really good point of saying, like, this is not on the sharks. We did this on purpose, not necessarily like on purpose to be bit, but like we were assholes on purpose. This is their domain. It's not on the shark. Don't, and so the end of the video is them going out and doing a respectful dive with the sharks, with the marine biologists on a different day, and like doing the things they're supposed to do and showing that the sharks are not inherently aggressive, and things like that. And I think that was probably how it was always going to end, but it's an even better note in the sense of like having watched the shark attack happen before, and they go back into the water with these sharks and they're like, look, if you're not a dumbass, it's not so bad. Like these are beautiful creatures. They should be respected. And we were being assholes and not respecting them. Yeah. So I do appreciate that aspect of it. So for that, I'm glad that was there.
There's a new Jackass movie coming out, the final thing they're ever going to do. And I grew up obsessed with Jackass. Yeah. Like, I love Jackass. Like, I thought those guys were so funny, and Wild Boys, and like everything with Bam. So like seeing these old men come back to do like a final hurrah where they're like, the poster they released is Johnny Knoxville getting shot out of a cannon. Yeah. And I'm like,
this is why,
oh my God,
this is why they did the Shark Week was to help promote the movie.
That's amazing.
Johnny Knoxville completely took producer role. He was not on the boat. He was just like, I'm going to send you guys to do dumb stuff. Cause he's like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. He's an actor now. Yeah.
I'm a little against how much celebrityism has creeped completely into Shark Week. I didn't mind that every once in a while we had like one or two stars, like it had started with like, here's one special with Shaq and one with Mike Tyson, and that's kind of it. We did one with Michael Phelps, which was interesting because we were comparing his like best swim times against the best swim times of sharks across short distances and bursts and things like that. And I'm like, that's really interesting. That's somewhat science-based, but we've gone full, like, I'm going to say like Tiffany Haddish has one of the premiere things for Shark Week this week. And she's probably one of the better celebrity guests, I think, on there, where I don't think that she's making some kind of stunt out of it, but actually there to learn something. And that was really nice, kind of like the Will Smith one, where I felt like Will Smith at least had a goal. But there's other celebrity presences. I haven't watched all of it. I've seen clips from it, but there's Josh Gates and William Shatner go out and do a Shark Trek special. Which I haven't watched yet. And then like, that's fun, but like the celebrityism is like almost getting to the point where it's half of Shark Week now. Mm-hmm. They had the stars from Sharknado come out and do a shark thing. And I'm like, come on. And also like now Sharknado is part of Shark Week. Like they air it and it's on Discovery Plus. And I'm like, please, my God. So that kind of sucks to see that happening. However, I will say Stranger Sharks, which has, the actor who plays Will on Stranger Things, going out and doing a dive, and they're actually learning some stuff in the Bermuda Triangle was kind of cool.
They made it out?
What?
They made it out of the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Man. Yeah, they went in there. This is actually the second time they've gone out there in 2 years.
I have seen the miniseries, The Triangle, and it told me that nothing makes it out of the Bermuda Triangle.
That's where it's my base.
I'll definitely have like more to say about like cool Shark Week stuff as I get to watch the rest of it. I've heard, and I haven't sat down to watch it because I've been waiting to watch it with Megan, but the very first thing that premiered the Shark Week was pretty cool. It's Steve Irwin's son doing a special called Crikey at Shark Week. Apparently it's like really good. It's like what everybody wants out of Shark Week, like for the rest of Shark Week forever. And I'm like, I totally get it. It's basically like getting a Crocodile Hunter episode about sharks all of a sudden, and it's very much in the spirit of Steve Irwin's show, but with his son, and it's very nice. It's very cool. So there's Shark Week stuff. That's great. We watched Loki finale episode out. If you're watching this live, it's out tomorrow. If you're watching it later, it's probably out now. Lots to say about that, but go watch that episode because I'm not going to say anything about it here.
Spoilers.
We watched this week's episode of Motherland Fort Salem. We did make time for that. That show, that probably the craziest episode of the show so far.
Yeah.
With the things that they're playing with. A lot of politics in this episode. A lot of politics. And I won't say all of it is sensible. Some of it's maybe not so great.
Yeah.
In just like the conceptualization and visualization of it. For example, like it's this big push for like a ceremony where they're bringing in new people to be witches, but people are protesting against it. And I'm like, it's one of those things where like budget television is really showing, because I'm like, we've got this small pack of protesters, but there's absolutely no supporters. Like, this is not how this kind of ceremony or rally would work, especially with something that's on a national level.
Yeah, there would be supporters there.
Right,
sure.
right. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get what we're doing, but like, you're stretching it. But still really cool. Some bold choices being made on that show. Really love it. Still love it. Go watch Motherland. Can't praise it enough.
Word.
Lastly, though,
oh boy,
I want to spend some minutes talking about the stupidest thing I've seen on genre television in a while.
And I was there too.
And it's that we watched another episode of Titans season 2.
Now, before we get to just the beatdown, we're going to give this episode real quick.
And I don't understand how I didn't hear about this stupidity before.
I think we both, I won't speak for you totally, but like we've liked Titans up to this point.
I've liked a lot of things.
Yeah. Like we've continued because like there's promise in the show. And I think the second season started very strong. And I liked a lot of the stuff they were doing in the second season. But now that we're in the second half, I feel like they're lost.
We're 3 episodes from the end.
We're 3 episodes from the end.
This was the third to last episode of this season.
But like the stuff that they were doing with Dick is just like whatever. And like the characters are like in places that just like they're just in bad places. And then we get to this episode, and then you can take over for.
Okay, so 20 minutes of the episode is about what I'm about to tell you. Raven and Starfire, Wonder Girl, and who's the fourth one? Oh, Dove.
Yeah, Dove.
Are all in different places. We're following different story things with them. That's what's been happening this season because they've kind of been off on their own things. So one, Raven gets visions.
Raven gets visions about Dick.
About Dick being killed by Slade.
Yes.
In a place called Elio.
Yeah. It's some city in Kansas.
Some small town.
Yeah. Some small town. Yeah.
So Raven's on a path to go there because she thinks she has to help Dick.
Magic visions.
Cool.
Visions.
Get it. I'm with you. Great.
Starfire.
Wonder Girl. No, not yet.
Okay.
That's the dumbest one. Wonder Girl gets a phone call of garbled static that sounds like it has Rachel's voice coming through saying, "I'm going here, Dick's in trouble." Okay, not sure why that was staticky, but cool. I'm with you. Great. There they go. Elko, thank you. There they go. Dove.
It's a radio signal or something?
The radio station starts playing that same message from Rachel. Staticky coming through her truck radio while she's driving. She's 1 mile from this town when that happens.
Yes.
We know it because it says it on a sign that she drives by. Okay. Her engine light comes on. All right. Now she's got to pull over, and that's going to be the reason she stops in Elko, because she didn't actually hear the name of the town in the message. Okay. Starfire is in a hotel in Vegas.
Isn't she at an airport?
I thought it was a hotel in Vegas.
I thought she was looking at
when
like
she's banging with the guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
She's in like the suite.
No,
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so first off, she's like having a whole like breakdown thing about Blackfire being in space and having sent her here and taking over her kingdom and all this shit. And she's hooking up with a guy who is like, "I'm a psychologist. You look like you need to have things to talk about," while they're like trying to do a makeout session. And he just knows how to say the right things in 2 minutes that gets her to just tell him the truth about everything.
And this is just like a random hookup.
And I'm like, okay.
It's a random hookup that goes really fast.
He kills the vibe, so she sends him away.
Yeah.
Static on her television. What do you think happens? The message from Rachel, right? That would make sense. At least it would be consistent.
Wait, who's Rachel?
Raven.
Raven's real name is Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always been.
Yeah. Okay, so Raven.
I honestly didn't know that.
A static message from Raven, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I've been talking about, Raven.
Yeah.
Nope. Static. It's multiple televisions. One television starts playing a commercial for the diner that Raven has had visions of this place, with donuts being the primary thing, where it's like, we got the best donuts in the world, and some redneck guy like standing in front of the diner, and he's like, you gotta come here, and she's like, I guess I gotta go there, because that was a weird experience. Cool. They all end up at the diner. They're all like, wow, why are we all here? And Raven's like, I didn't contact you. Now I ask you, with everything I just told you, who do you think did that?
Control Freak.
Would your guess be Bruce Wayne?
No.
Shit.
It's Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne walks into the diner, and the characters are also confused. But we're like, hold up a minute. You're telling me Bruce Wayne can give Rachel visions about Dick? He can do all this technology stuff.
He filmed a fake commercial.
He filmed a fake commercial.
Has never had donuts.
Yeah,
He
diner
filmed a fake commercial to play into Starfire's suite that she's been at for a day.
It's so elaborate, and it's so heavy brain thinking.
And he basically just gets them together to say, yo,
go save Dick.
No, not even that.
No?
You guys should probably stand together as Titans rather than being apart. All right, peace.
Oh yeah,
and then he drives away, and they're like, did Bruce Wayne just do all that to mansplain to us that we should put the Titans back together?
Yep.
And Dove is just like, yep.
And that's the end of it.
And then two of them just leave.
Yep.
And ignore that it happened. And I'm like,
it's one of the most.
What just happened?
It's one of the most baffling things that I've really ever seen in like superhero TV.
The moment
like,
Bruce Wayne walked in, he's in like a white blazer with a bright blue button-up shirt, and I'm like, this is not really Bruce Wayne. This is gonna be like someone pulling a bullshit on them, right? No, it's really just Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That's so weird. The production value alone.
I'm really hoping this just magically turned into vodka.
Yeah.
To make my brain cells not die quicker after what I just heard.
And the thing is, like,
this was 4 days ago, and I have been thinking about it ever since.
Yeah, it's truly bad. Like,
okay, like comic book television. I've seen worse comic book television in the sense of like poor quality.
Yeah.
Right? The Legends season 1. Let's just throw that out there. Like, that's poor quality television on a whole, I would say. At least I feel like there's a consistent, like, yes, it's bad writing, but it's like it's on a consistent trajectory of the story it's trying to tell. This just felt like complete illogical bullshit that just disconnected entirely from the narrative of the story, from the narrative of the characters, all for like meaninglessness and complete like absent-mindedness about who these characters are, especially Bruce Wayne. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen something this stupid in genre television, and I've watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
Question for you guys. You guys read a whole lot more times than I have, but you guys remember Control Freak? Is he only in the cartoon, or is he also in the comic books?
I mean, I haven't read any Titans recently, so I couldn't tell you.
Don't know the answer to that question.
No, I couldn't tell you.
I honestly haven't read any Titans.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure I've read.
I see where you're going, Ben, and you're right. Yeah. Control Freak would have made more sense, but guess what? Still wouldn't explain Raven's visions.
No, it wouldn't have. But all the crazy shit.
That's the one that like.
That's the one that really sends me over the moon. Even though like Bruce Wayne filming a fake commercial still gets me.
And again, like the dude,
Bruce Wayne somehow like knowing that Raven on top of all of it was having visions. Like, not. I won't go so far as to say that the show is suggesting that he was giving her the visions, but that he knew she was having them. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one part. She goes to a bus stop right after she has the visions, and then Elko magically shows up on the destination board. And they're saying that part is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah, through technology. Oh, then it all makes sense then, I guess, yeah. Yeah, it's just like...
the dumbest shit you've ever heard, right?
The thing is, it's like, I don't think this show has been this bad yet. And it just bums me out that like, oh, we're at this point and we're almost at the end of the season. Like, how are they going to come back from this? Like, there's so many loose ends, and they're introducing new stuff at the end of this episode where I'm like, I still want to watch that season 3. Like, they're doing a lot of cool stuff. I didn't watch that trailer, but like all the new characters, I'm like, man, we'll get there. We're gonna work through.
We're gonna finish this season, and Ryan and I have agreed we're gonna watch the first episode of the new season. And boy, if it hasn't like really picked back up, we're done.
Sorry,
because we were both sitting there like, did we both like really lose our minds? Or
Yeah.
what the hell just happened? This is 20 minutes of this episode.
It's really
that it
bad.
takes spending time on putting these characters together like that. And I'm like, literally, you could have like phone called all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Like, it's really
Send
stupid.
a group text. Hey, be better. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like we spent a lot of time on that, but like really, it's one of the worst things I've seen in TV in a long time. Like really bad. And
I don't know how to stress to you enough that it was so like bafflingly stupid.
And it bums me out because again, it's like, oh man, this is Batman on TV, and this is what we're getting.
I kind of feel like Ryan Reynolds and Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, where he plays the doctor, but he goes, but why?
Okay, so real quick. Also, Bruce Wayne is in another part of the episode, but he's not really Bruce Wayne. He's imaginary Bruce Wayne.
His brain.
Because Dick is having visions of him while he's having a fever in prison, which, like, I'm fine with. He has daddy issues. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's been a few episodes of them doing this, like 3 at least, and I keep waiting for Bruce Wayne to actually be in the prison, and I'm like, the one place he shows up is the place that makes even less sense.
He has like a totally cool, like, it's a fine action scene with fake Bruce Wayne. He's doing like a fight club basically. And I'm like, this would have been great, like to have Bruce Wayne show up, like Tony Stark did in Homecoming. Like, if you better be here. Like, that's what I thought was about to happen. But like, that'd be good.
And like, you're seeing him like in his imagination, like he's fighting the sickness and this stuff he hates about himself in his imagination, fighting Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, man, what does this look like outside of like people passing by the prison? And then they actually show us, and I'm like, oh,
it's silly.
I kind of just wanted to think that question.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see the answer.
My final thoughts on this. I've heard that the finale with like the stuff that like the Deathstroke, it ends satisfyingly with him. So I just want to get to there. Until then, like, boy, we gotta battle.
I didn't mind so much that the stupidity was kind of trapped on Raven and Beast Boy and Starfire, as long as like my favorite characters were untouched by stupidity.
You brought Dove into this.
They got Donna and Dove being stupid in this episode too, and I'm like, no, the characters I like.
They're slowly bringing them down. Yeah. That's Titans. That's Titans.
That's it. We just both knew we were going to want to spend some time chatting about this baffling moment that we both looked it up after too. Like, people were just like, yeah, real good episode. I'm like, are you high?
Yeah, the IGN review is like pretty high, and I'm like, I wonder if this was just like being in the right place, right time thing, but like, it's just bad. It's just bad, guys.
No, sir.
That's it.
And do you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. So, Sparks, when you were talking about some of the stuff for Shark Week, I did and kind of didn't watch Shark Week because Discovery's playing at the gym I go to, and of course all the commercials are for Discovery Plus. They're like, hey, look at the Shark Week, and they have some reruns of Shark Week. I think they have the last special about those 2 killer whales, because they were playing a special about the killer whales, and I was watching. I was like, oh, hey, this is the killer whales that Sparks mentioned. And I do see what you're talking about all the celebrities coming in, because they were playing they were rerunning the William Shatner Shark Trek one. But the one I kind of want to see is with Snoop Dogg in the recording booth narrating the nature documentary, because I just think that's funny.
That was last year, and I'll say, like, I don't mind that one. I gotta tell you, it's not really like him narrating a nature documentary, which honestly sounded cooler to me. Mm-hmm. They just play a lot of different clips of, like, most of it is people, like, their candid, like, virtual YouTube videos and that kind of stuff, and him just being like, oh shit, I wouldn't go in that water. And I'm like, that's fun. That's totally fine. That is not the celebrityism level that's, like, bothering me. I also don't think it's the best Shark Week content, if I'm being honest, but, like, it's fine.
Yeah, because I was going to say I wanted to try and get to your – next time we record in person, I was going to try and get to your place a little earlier so I could watch a little bit of Shark Week, because I actually want to see it with a clearer picture instead of the stacked green one I see at the gym.
Shark Week's cool.
Shark Week is awesome. Shark Week, ooh, ah. So besides that, I didn't do a whole lot media-wise. I didn't watch any more Demon Slayer. Unfortunately, I haven't touched Super Mario 64. But I did get a little bit of reading done. I'm slowly but surely chipping away at my comics. I'm not caught up on all my X-Men books, but I'm getting there. So that's the thing. And also, I've been reading this. A while ago, we were contacted by the publisher Inkshare and they gave me an advanced copy of the book in beta by Prescott Harvey. Premise of this book is that 2 high schoolers in 1992 come across a demo disc, and they find out that the town they live in, it's a small town in Washington, is actually a computer simulation, so they get to mess with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm like not very far. I'm like barely into it. But funny story about this. So they reached out. I gave them my address, and it's like, yeah, if you can review on the show, that'd be awesome. I'm like, yeah, sure. That wasn't the first book they sent me. Instead, this is the book they sent me, called On Home by Becca Spencer Dobiat, or W. Yeah. They sent me this book. It's nothing like In Beta. This book is about a closeted lesbian cam girl who goes back to her home in West Virginia to deal with family stuff.
I have been actually meaning to talk to you about this, Ben. You see, Inkshare reached out to me if I could review that book separately. So that was for me.
Oh,
there you
go. I'm kidding.
No.
Gotta be clear because like sometimes you think it's real.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew this book. I knew this book was coming. I was looking forward to it because I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting an advanced copy of the book. This is sweet. That's never happened to me before. And when I opened the package, I opened this. I'm like, I don't think this is the right one.
Hey man, you don't know what you like until you try it.
Well, I did. Of course, obviously, I got the proper book. I let them. I was like, hey, I think you sent me the wrong book, and they're like, oh shit, yeah, we did. So I got the right one. So far, I'm enjoying this. Reading the premise, I was a little nervous this was going to be very Ready Player One-ish, and so far, it's not.
Why would you be nervous? You love that book.
That's true.
I love you, Ben. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open an old one.
Guess what, Sparks? Loved.
There you go. Sparks jumps on Ben and just rips open that Ready Player One mood, just ripping it open.
I mean, I still really love the movie. If I were to go back to any Ready Player One media, it's definitely going to be the movie before I reread that book again.
Hey, man, I totally get it. You are the person who, when the podcast started, said if any movie is going to save video game movies, it's probably Ready Player One. Go check out our 5th anniversary special.
Anyways, besides chipping away at my comic book stack and reading In Beta, yesterday I went to Frank & Sons with Adam just to go hang out. And
the show and tell portion of the episode.
Okay, no, I'm not going to show and tell.
I want you to. I want you to. I was just kidding.
And as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII. And one of the booths had these Final Fantasy VII low poly blind boxes. So I got some. I got Tifa, Aerith, Red 13, but the first one I pulled is probably is the coolest one because I have all these blind box. Well, you guys know what blind boxes are. There's always that really rare chase one that's like one in like the odds of getting it are super high, so you have to buy a whole bunch of them and to get any chance to get it.
See, I
scribble knots.
Yes, I remember. I thought a blind box was a box that you open up that had a really bright light that blinded you for several seconds just to make you see God again.
So really elaborate prank.
Solar flare.
Yeah. Well, these Final Fantasy figures, the chase one, the rare one, was Cloud in a dress when he goes to Walmart Walmart. And
goes to Walmart. Final Fantasy VII is Walmart.
It's Walmart. Yeah,
that's what it's called in the game, and that's the first one I pull.
That's cool.
There is Cloud in a dress, low poly, from Final Fantasy VII. So
cute.
Yeah,
I real quickly, I saw those in my preview catalog for the comic book store, and I thought I wanted to get them for you as well. Just in general, those are really cool for blind box figures. The Polygon Final Fantasy VII figures, I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, these, I mean, for those of you who don't know, it was like, why are these low poly? Because these are the character models that you see. Like, here's Tifa. This is what you see when you're going through the overworld. When the cutscenes are happening in the original Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1. This is what you see. You don't. The super detail is when you're in a fight scene and maybe a CG cutscene. That's it. But those are very few far between. Well, battles aren't, but the CGI cutscenes are. So this is what you see. No fingers, block hands, and extreme polygonal. And I love these. These are really cool collectibles, and I'm glad I got a few of them. To be honest, I pulled like 2 Renos, and I was able to trade for Tifa and Aerith. So now I'm just missing Cloud, Sephiroth, and Barrett. Those are the ones I want. I really don't give a shit about Reno. Sorry.
You have Cloud right there.
Well, regular Cloud, not in his dress.
There's better.
That's true.
You got the Cloud. That's all you need.
It is the chase.
Yeah, Adam was kind of to get me those because we saw him and he knew I really wanted them. And And yeah. Earlier today, I went over to Lost Levels. I took my roommate's Super Nintendo to try and see it get fixed because we plugged it in a while ago and it wasn't working. Turns out the system's totally fine. We just need to clean the game carts because he hasn't played those game cartridges in a long ass time.
I do that old.
No, don't. You don't want to do the You don't want to do that because that's going to mess up the pins. It's going to mess up the connection. You need you want Q-tips and isopropyl alcohol as close to 100% as you can get, and then you clean them really nice, and then you're golden.
No, I'm pretty sure you just blow on it.
Yeah, I see. I grew up blowing, and nothing bad happened.
I grew up doing that as well.
I also grew up blowing.
I'm not gonna say what you guys are saying. I know exactly.
Coward.
No.
Oh, we're talking about game cartridges?
We'll splice out that audio and misuse it.
There we go.
Exactly. I'm not giving you the audio because I know you're gonna misrepresent it.
About what?
Shut up. Hold up. I gotta talk. So who here? Okay, quick. Who here has watched Final Fantasy VII Machine Abridged from Team 4-Star?
Nope.
I haven't watched that.
Because Mag is saying Thunderhead. It's a joke from Team 4-Star's Final Fantasy VII Mission Abridged.
Nice.
Yep. Thunderhead.
I'll watch that when I beat that game I bought 3 months ago.
Well, I still wouldn't cover all Final Fantasy VII.
Yep. Anything else, Ben?
No, that's about it. I put away the 2 games I bought, so I'm not gonna pull them out for you guys. But I mean, I'm liking In Data. I'm enjoying it.
Good. All right.
I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to read my books.
All right. I got a couple things. I've been playing a lot of Knockout City. I wasn't sure I was going to bring it up, but I've been playing a lot of Knockout City.
You and I played a little bit earlier today.
Yeah. Really like that game. I like a lot of the games that we play online together. For audience members, because of the pandemic, we play a lot of online games together. Us 4 and a bunch of other people that we know. And I've always liked them all. I'm really like Dead by Daylight, Fall Guys, whatever. But I haven't had a desire to play any of them on my own, except for Knockout City, because I like that game a whole lot, and I feel like I'm good at it. It's an easy game, but I feel accomplished with it. I've been playing a lot of it. It's really great.
That's awesome.
I think that game does a really great job of making you feel pretty good with it at some point, because even when you have those bad games, it's not usually like, oh, I'm just shit. It's just like, they were good and I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Not today.
Hey, Brandon, you should totally talk about how you and I dominated Diamond Rush today.
All right, so because Ben wants me to bring it up, I will. There is a new format game because they cycle game types, and right now there's a Diamond Knockout City thing. I don't know the full name of it.
Diamond Rush.
Diamond Rush.
This is the one where you hit people to get the gems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you get to 30 and you win the game. I don't know what was in the water, Ben, but you and I crushed it. We won almost every game we played, except for me.
Hell yeah.
We were kicking ass, and the first team we played was a full crew, like a full 3-person crew, and they were called the Street Gods.
Screw them.
They weren't street gods to us. They were more like street minions because we destroyed them 30-7.
Nice.
I wish I wasn't at work.
Yeah.
I want to play. I've missed video games all week, baby.
It was.
I've missed playing with you, Sparks.
Yeah, I was happy to get that time in to play games with Brandon today because I also miss video games.
I was really glad I got to play with someone because all week I've been playing on my own. But it is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it is like Sparks said. You do feel accomplished when you play it, even when you do even when you don't win a game.
Yeah, that game just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did actually manage to play a little bit of video games while I was watching some Shark Week. Some of it's stuff I can be pretty passive as far as how I'm watching. Like I'm watching it, but I don't need to like watch every second necessarily because there's a lot of biologists talking, that kind of stuff. So I did get a little bit further. I conquered another gym in Let's Go Pikachu.
Nice.
Because that's an easy game to like just have going while I'm paying attention to something like Shark Week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A TV show happened this week. A little TV show some of you guys might have heard of called Loki happened this week, and there was a big reveal at the end of the final episode. Last episode of Fiction's Watch is coming, so you can check that out. I won't spoil it here for those of you who haven't seen it.
Mephisto.
Finally did it. We're finally right about the Mephisto thing.
Mephisto Mephisto's all over the Ghost Rider game because he's like also in the movie. But I'm like, I get to say Mephisto so many times.
Isn't he Mephistopheles in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his real name. They just shorten it. Yeah.
So I've been playing. I started playing Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which has a bunch of multiverse heroes come together in Chronopolis to fight the big bad Kang. Really great game.
I did stuff this week. So, completely unrelated to Loki, you guys. I watched a bunch of animated Marvel episodes involving the comic book character Kang the Conqueror. So I watched Earth's Mightiest Heroes Kang trilogy episodes. I watched Earth's Avengers Assemble. Had a good one. And then there's the really bad 1999 Avengers Forever cartoon that I talked about very briefly. I watched the Kang episode of that. That dude, all of their costumes look very different than normal. Kang looks like the Anti-Monitor. He has like a weird rounded head. He has one line that I think is really good. Tony Stark is like battling him, and then Kang opens up a portal to escape. And Tony's like, Kang, I'm not going to let you get away this time. And he's like, all I have is time. And walks through the door. And I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. That's so good.
That's a pretty cool line.
All I have is time.
And he just walks through a portal. I'm like, that's sick. That's sick. That cartoon's still bad, though.
I, like Ryan, completely unrelated to the TV series Loki. I played Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, who has the supervillain Kang as the main villain. That I haven't played it in a very long time, and I remembered why I stopped playing it because I got really tired of the Lego games. As much as I really enjoy them, they are mostly the same every single time. So it can get really tedious at times. But now that I'm kind of back into it, I've had so long to wait for Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga that I can now appreciate the games again. I beat the story ages ago, so I'm now going back and getting all the collectibles and so many great characters. And hey, Kang's in it for some reason. That made me think of doing.
Yeah. They must be doing so much for that Lego Star Wars game for it to have taken this long.
I hope so.
I cannot even imagine. I'm like, if it comes out and it doesn't have online play, I don't know what they're doing.
They hate you.
Yeah, there is a specific reason. There has to be a specific reason that game is now 3 years late.
Woo.
All right. Anyway, then I watched the movies. The new TV series Monsters at Work is out on Disney Plus, so I decided to watch the first Monsters Inc. movies. So I watched Monsters Inc. and Monsters University in the other order. I watched the prequel first, then the sequel. Outside of the fact that Mike Wazowski definitely says we've known each other since fourth grade, they complement each other really well in that order. I think they did a really good job of Monsters University, feeling like it seamlessly flows into Monsters Inc.
I can definitely see where like you're sitting at Pixar and you're like, I came up with a great idea for a prequel story. Here's the whole arc of it. We're gonna tell a story. It's gonna be all about Mike Wazowski, and it will include like how he met Sully, but like it's got this focus on Mike, and this is how we're doing it. And, like you have this whole elaborate, cool idea that is Monsters University planned out, and then someone's like, but that one line of Monsters Inc. though, and it's like, yeah, but are we gonna throw away a whole movie?
And then they shoot that
one line.
Then they shoot that guy and they bury the body and go, we're moving on with this idea.
It's like
both
that meme
those
where
films.
I was gonna say it's like that meme where that one guy says something and then they just chuck him out the window.
Yeah. Both of those films I think are really good. I still fall under I like Monsters University more than Monsters Inc. I don't think it's a better movie. It just really speaks to me in a way that Monsters Inc. doesn't. But Monsters Inc. holds up like crazy. That is those early Pixar films still hold up really well, I think. Monsters Inc. no exception.
Monsters Inc. is definitely one of those ones when like Megan will let me circulate out something to put on as we're going to sleep that isn't Friends. Monsters Inc. is one of those that's a really nice one to put on.
Michael Wazowski.
And I really I forgot how much I liked Monsters University watching it this time around because I haven't seen it in a while. I've seen Monsters Inc. more recently, but having the whole story be about Mike, as Spark said, and it's really unexpected in the directions it takes because you expect them to succeed at the end, but they don't. They end up dropping out of college. Spoilers.
Oh, I don't care.
I care.
I'm so sorry. I didn't. Oh, you hadn't seen it. I apologize.
No, Ryan hasn't seen Monsters University.
I haven't seen, except for Toy Story, Pixar sequels. Oh, I saw Incredibles, but that's because I like superheroes.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't seen.
Did you also see
Finding Dory? No.
Oh,
you should. But anyway, I really like that movie. I like the movie a lot. It's got a great voice cast, awesome concepts. The animation is gorgeous. And then the newest episode of Monsters at Work came out this week. It is definitely a dip in tone more than anything, not necessarily animation, even though that is kind of an issue. But it is hard to accept the whimsical world of Monsters Inc. and the kind of not capturing that Pixar whimsy, Monsters at Work. I hope that it corrects itself, but it is difficult to kind of like. I get visually why they're in the same universe, but I don't understand why this story exists in the Monsters Inc. world.
Does it feel like it's like missing that like special ingredient right now?
Yeah.
Controversial opinion, I guess. Because I've definitely like agreed with others who I've seen say this, and then people are like, "You shut up! You don't know animation." And I'm like, I kind of wish that the Monsters at Work show were animated in the style of the opening door credits.
Like
the beginning of the movie,
like 2D,
very 2D, like kind of like not always colored within the lines animation. And I kind of wish that's what it looked like, rather than trying and not quite being able to succeed because you're not that studio.
That seems like more
to
effort.
Replicate the Pixar animation. Which isn't a slight, like, it doesn't mean the show can't be strong without that. I just like, why aim so hard and high when you could just
do something different?
Be different, because like, you know, I watched the Tangled show, and there's no part of me that when I watch it doesn't accept that this is in the same world as that movie, even though they look different.
There's no disconnect because it's animated. Like,
right. Like I don't like go, oh, this isn't the same.
I went from I did Tangled. I watched Tangled the series, and then Tangled Ever After.
It's no different than like I can watch Rebels, and I know that's in Star Wars.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know why they had to aim that high. I have more hope for the future Disney Animation Studio television productions, because again, this is Disney TV animation. Disney Animation, who make the films, are making the Princess and the Frog show, the Moana show, the Zootopia show, that are all coming down the pipeline. So I have a little more faith that at least that sense, they're probably going to hit those marks pretty well. And, this was the TV animation having to, yes, and Pixar's got a show too, but this was Disney's TV animation side having to try and play catch up to the movies. And I'm like, that just seems like such a high bar to set for yourself, especially when they've been doing well with the Big Hero 6 series and the Tangled series being radically different visualizations.
There is something, I'll agree with that. There is something that I really like about the show, which is that at the end of Monsters Inc., you have seen Monsters Inc., Ryan, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of Monsters Inc., the it's kind of like fine. It's like, oh, we are powered by laughter now, and that's, you know, it's more powerful and whatnot. Monsters at Work takes place before that moment, and is about the struggle of transitioning an entire society who is dependent on scream energy into laugh energy. And I actually really appreciate that they're taking the time to deal with the fact that it would be difficult to all of a sudden overhaul an entire society.
I'm glad that is the approach, because like, again, if it was just like a switch flipped and it's like, oh, we're just about laughs now, no transition period, and be like, oh, that's kind of lame.
Well, I do think that's
opportunity.
I think that's always been the most appealing premise of the show, is that the guy. I think that is where the show's strength is, and I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I want to, but I haven't started. I think that is where the show's strength is that the protagonist is a dude who just graduated college to be a scare worker. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. And it's like, wow, my degree is worthless. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, how could that be relatable?
Yeah. And like that stuff I like, and the fact that like I understand why in the movie, because the movie's got to end on a happy note and whatever, but like I'm glad that they took the approach of being like, we're going to deal with the fact that we're overhauling a society, what people deal with that, and then the main character having to deal with that he graduated a day before Waternoose was taken into prison. It's really on that level. Those first 3 episodes have surprised me, and I'm into it. I just kind of hope that they get better. Because right now I'm kind of like, it's fine.
For sure.
I watched Thor Ragnarok. I ended Loki's story twice this week. I watched Thor Ragnarok.
Technically, you didn't end it if you didn't go to Infinity War.
I've seen Infinity War recently. Like
That's
within
still the end.
That's still the end.
the past 6 months.
The penultimate.
You don't even have to watch the whole movie. Just put on the first 10 minutes.
But then I'm gonna want to watch the whole movie.
Well, that's the
that
dilemma.
doesn't sound so bad to me.
Anyway, so I watched Thor
I
Ragnarok.
wanted to watch 10 minutes, and I ended up watching this whole Marvel movie.
I did that with a different movie this week that I'm gonna bring up.
Boss
It is on Peacock. I could have.
Peacock.
But I don't own Peacock. Anyway, Thor Ragnarok rules. That movie is incredible. I love that movie to death. It's obviously been praised to death by us and by other people, so I don't need to say much.
Hey, I had a quick thought because I brought this up with Megan the other day because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, why do I keep picturing this in my head? And she's like, I'm picturing that too. And I'm like, I guess I need to watch that again, and I haven't. In Thor Ragnarok, when Jeff Goldblum disintegrates his cousin, does it look like pruning?
No, because he turns into goo.
Well, he turns into goo.
But the effect that disintegrates his body, does it look like pruning?
No.
Because both Megan and I went, it looks like that in my memory.
It's not.
I am not trying to suggest it's the same
No.
process.
I from what in my memory, it's more. It doesn't look like that.
Look, having seen it just 2 days ago, I can't confidently say it's not, though. So,
Okay.
She and I were just both sitting there, and I'm like, when I picture it, it looks like pruning.
And that could easily be a thing
That's
that
weird,
they do post. That like we weren't thinking of it, but we just make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I watched, because, I make Zara see a lot of movies, so sometimes she's got to make me see a movie. Boss Baby Family Business, the sequel to The Boss Baby.
I'm sorry.
Apparently they're based on books. Didn't know that.
Oh, was it as bad as it looked?
I can't. I saw the first one. I saw the first one a couple of years ago, so I can't say this with confidence. But I think it's better than the first one. Which isn't saying a lot.
That's
You're
nice.
never gonna sell me.
I don't want to sell you.
Good for you.
I don't want to sell you on it. This is not me selling you on it.
Now, tell me real quick though, isn't it true that the boss baby from the first movie is now a grown up, and then he has to get turned into a baby again?
Yes.
Why? Don't tell me.
Because they have to infiltrate.
Don't tell.
I'm going to tell you, damn it. Because it's part of what I want to talk about. They have to infiltrate the daycare that the main kids for the first film, who's now an adult, his daughter goes to this daycare, and they have to infiltrate that daycare because Jeff Goldblum is trying to take over the world with babies through this daycare.
Is it actually Jeff Goldblum, or is Jeff Goldblum playing a character?
Jeff Goldblum's playing a character.
Oh, yeah.
I have to clarify.
Because that'd be funny.
Maybe movies were a mistake.
See, that's a good. I love it. That's my favorite joke. Anytime something bad happens.
Yeah,
it's really dumb. But there's a freaking there's a Boss Baby billboard that pops up almost every time I'm on the freeway going to work.
Oh, a BBB?
No, it's this one where it's like, good, you're out. Go get me a latte. And for some reason, whenever that pops up when I'm driving, I see it, I'm just like, F you. I just keep going.
Hold on. I want to be the person who reads it. Go get me a latte. Okay, boss baby. Where do I take it, boss baby? I'm looking for the next billboard.
Throw it at the billboard. Here's your latte, you big baby.
Oh my god, this is so dumb.
Now that said, I riotously laughed at one moment because it got me. I cannot remember what it was at this point. And Jeff Goldblum turned in a Jeff Goldblum performance, and that's always enjoyable.
He does his thing. Yeah.
I do remember when his character shows up in a commercial in the beginning of the movie. I was like, why am I hearing Jeff Goldblum's voice right now?
Because they paid him.
Funny enough, you did.
Wait, can I tell you guys the spoiler?
I don't care.
I definitely have never seen this movie.
Okay, don't skip ahead if you don't care about Boss Baby 2 spoilers. Jeff Goldblum's character, who is an old man taking over this preschool, is actually a baby riding a robot.
No.
Yes. Now I'm gonna see it. No. But why is he? If he's a baby, why does he want to take over the world?
He wants to take over the world. The babies are the dominant species on the planet.
Why is he an old man? So he can be taken seriously?
I don't want to be here anymore.
Because he had to take over a preschool.
I don't want to be here anymore.
All right, I'll Wikipedia.
I hate that Boss Baby 2 is making more money than Mitchell's vs. the Machines will ever have the opportunity to.
And it's going to probably get another sequel.
Please, can we just move on?
Wait, Brandon, I have something. I have one more question. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for it.
No, I'm just joking.
I
thought
Anyway.
I thought I didn't have any more brain cells that can die from super information today. Apparently, I was wrong.
All right.
Boss
Anyway,
Baby watches.
I needed something to just kind of put on the background while I just waited while my food showed up from Postmates, and I ate it to go to bed. And I ended up watching
Guys?
the entire.
Is it the Nice Guys? Was it the Nice Guys?
It's the Nice Guys.
Yeah, I thought so.
I ended up watching the whole thing. I really like that movie. I always forget how much I do. That's a really great movie. Shane Black, Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe. I kind of had a hankering to watch it because there's a thing. The first time I saw this joke, and I'm not sure if it's like a been a consistent joke since before, but there's been a couple of trailers and movies that I've seen recently where they've used the joke that they're invincible, that they think they're invincible, but they're just normal people. Fast 9 did it, and Free Guys is going to do it.
The other guys with The Rock and Sam Jackson did it too, because they jump off a building.
I remember that, but I mean, but there's characters in F9 and Free Guys who are just like, I think I'm invincible, and so I remember that from the Nice Guys because Ryan Gosling towards the end of the movie is like, I think I'm invincible because he just for some reason gets lucky enough to not die in situations, and that's kind of where I wanted to watch it. The movie's great. I really like it. It's a lot of fun.
That is one of the few like Shane Black things where I'm like, I will take a sequel, I will take a TV series like this. That is one of my favorite movies of his. Absolutely. Yeah. So good.
Mine as well. I have a big gap in Richard Donner filmography, so I decided to watch a few of them. I'm still waiting for my girlfriend to not be really exhausted so we can watch Lethal Weapon together. But I watched an adaptation of the late 1950s TV series that Richard Donner directed called Maverick. This is Mel Gibson, James Gardner, and Jodie Foster. Awesome movie.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it before. It's this really cool Western with Mel Gibson. Young Mel Gibson was a really charming guy, so I don't feel too bad about saying that.
He was very charming until he wasn't.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. There's a really funny Lethal Weapon bit in it where the Danny Glover is robbing a bank towards the beginning of the movie, and they kind of like look at each other and like do I, no, and that was funny. Yeah, awesome. I cheered it towards the end of it. I had a blast with that movie. It's a lot of fun. It's great.
I saw it once when I was a teenager, but I remember it being very good.
Yeah. And I accidentally had another the guy who plays Water News from Monsters Inc. plays the Colonel in or the Commodore in Maverick. So I accidentally had a little bit of a double feature there.
Look at that. Was he a giant spider in that one too?
No, that would be a very different movie.
Wild Wild West.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man, maybe I should watch that next.
Oh, no.
And then I watched The Forever Purge. That came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh my god, it did come out.
I'm thinking about it now, and I don't know if you can convince me that Wild Wild West and Boss Baby 2 don't have the same plot.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute.
Spiders, big baby. Where's the big baby in Wild Wild West? Is it Will Smith?
It's robots.
There's a dude with like sword hands. I don't know.
All right.
Is that Boss Baby?
I watched The Forever Purge, the latest from the Purge franchise. I really liked it. I want to say that up top. I really liked it. I have yet to see a Purge thing that I don't really like. And I think the films after the first one, as we've mentioned, have been very good. This one is the most overt, though. I'm not going to spoil Election Year because I know Sparks especially haven't seen the Purge sequels.
I haven't not.
And Ben hasn't seen any of the Purge films. But this one does undo the ending of the Purge: The Election Year, which is up until this point the last thing we saw in the Purge franchise. The furthest thing, not last. And that's kind of a bummer. So you're kind of like, well, wait, what was the point of Election Year then? If we're just right back where we started, but it does allow the writer who has written everything in the Purge franchise and directed 3 of the movies to finally just be frustrated with anybody the few people who don't know what the Purge films are about, to finally say like, this is what they've always been about.
I have heard from some people who I trust that like, yeah, the writer just finally got to go off and be like, yo, it's always been this political.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. That's what I want to hear.
And I really appreciate it, because they're finally just like, the Purge was always creating psychopaths, because that's what the Purge TV series talks about a bit. The Purge was always creating psychopaths. The Purge was always about killing minorities and poor people. That's what this has always been about. The NFFA have always been bad, and now, and like, finally just kind of saying that all, and it kind of feels a little refreshing for the writer. Like, he's like finally airing out that, like, if you didn't get it, this is it.
Does this feel like, because this is like I think in a way it was like, this is like the last Purge. Does this feel like the end, or like a new beginning?
I can see how you would make a sequel, but if you ended it here, I'd actually think that was really ballsy.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, they do undo the ending of Election Year, which is unfortunate, which would have stopped them from doing sequels. But I can see how this one could be like the last.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sparks,
just real quick, like I was just gonna say, like, you know, we need to try and like, this is a knock on you, Brandon. This is in general sense about like the Purge, but in general, we need to reorient our language a little. Let's not say psychopaths. Let's, you know, say creating, you know, dangerous people, or even sociopaths would be better. But like a psychopath has a terminology that's not great as far as like mental health portrayals, and like, let's not imply that the events of the Purge would necessarily create a lot of mental health people to be presented in this way, and like that association is not what you're intending to convey, and not something that people should be conveying about the Purge franchise.
I had no idea about that, so let me just, in no uncertain terms, just say what I meant, because now I feel bad. What I'm talking about is that the idea of the Purge, and the reason why Election Year and Anarchy exist in this one, is to say that the Purge is weaning out nice people and leaving only the super hateful people to get worse.
Right, absolutely. I only mean to use it because you are not the only person who has used the term in essentially like saying the country becomes a whole bunch of psychopaths. And the reason we shouldn't use that is because, as a person who has a very lovely friend who works with special needs children, knows that the etymology of psychopath is not used in the best way or in the best context, and we need to use that term more critically. So it's again like more a judgment on just how people have crafted the conceptualization of that word, especially in terms of the Purge, but in general.
No, I learned something there. All right.
Yeah. I was thinking about this actually the other day, Sparks, because there is a little bit of what you were talking about that you wanted a Purge film to be about, which is the eat the rich aspect of it. This film does start in that way. Like the forever purgers are like, we're going to kill all the rich people and we're going to kill all the minorities because that's what we want to do. The issue that I think the writer runs into, and I'm not confident enough to say that you can't do this, but I think that the writer feels like he can't do this. He doesn't feel comfortable making the purgers the good guys by making an eat the rich narrative. So he only ever really wants to like touch on it.
like flipping
right.
it.
I was about to say, because you were like, they're going to be the people who are like eat the rich and also kill all the minorities. I'm like, those two things are not supposed to be
right. But the NFFA, but in the United States, even in this United States, we've the like really like the beaten down class is seeing the rich and the minorities in kind of the same sense, like they're the reason my problems exist. I don't want to get into a political debate, but the NFFA which the political party in the Purge franchise, they're exacerbating that whole thing.
Sure.
Let's see the movie.
No, I know. I'm not judging on the movie.
Yeah,
I just mean, like, you know, people I see on Twitter who are saying eat the rich are usually minorities, which is why I'm saying like those ideologies are not the same.
No, they're not supposed to be. I'm talking about a bunch of old white people who are trying to manipulate the people into doing something like that.
Sure.
Looking at them in the same light. If I misspoke there again, like the psychopath, I apologize. But So the film doesn't feel, so I don't feel like the writer, what I was saying is the writer doesn't feel comfortable to make the purgers the good guys, because the idea is that they need to be the hateful ones, the bad ones. I would kind of like to see him attempt though.
That seems like the natural progression of it. They created the Purge, And then at the end of the purge, like actually all the good people did rise up and they're going to fight the people who created the purge. So now they want to stop the purge. Now the purge is a bad thing for the people who created it. That could be a really cool narrative that they're definitely not going to do.
Yeah.
I won't say definitely not. But I will say I don't think this guy feels comfortable enough to do it.
Yeah, maybe pass the torch kind of thing.
Yeah.
I will say in general, I don't think any major studio would ever bankroll a film that would actually go to the places I would want the Purge franchise to really go. Which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy just for the Purge films to be like the highest level of like political critique that you can get while also being part of a major studio base.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I want the Purge to have like an A24 film where they get to go, no, like really, this is about this, and like really needle it, and it's okay if we never get it, but that's what I want.
Yeah.
This film ends in a really interesting place that I hope doesn't get a sequel, but I can see the potential of one. Just kind of like where it is at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, go back, do more TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sure they would have if they hadn't been canceled.
Yeah.
I'm sure like they wanted long term to have like at least 5 years on that show.
And then I watched and finished Love Victor, which is the Hulu spinoff show to Love Simon.
Nice.
Really solid second season. I would say probably just as good as the first season. If you like Love Simon, it's more that. I think it's really good representation in general of not just the LGBTQ plus community, but also like the just teenage community now. It feels very real. I'm a 30-year-old man saying this, but it feels very real to what I more real than other places have portrayed this generation in high school. And I think that has a lot of value. Great character work. Great. I really like it. I think it's a really solid show, and I'm glad it exists.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Coolio.
All right. Bread and butter time, baby.
Let's do it.
Bread and butter.
Actually, almost didn't play for me. That was weird.
Uh-oh.
All right. We got some comic book news up top.
My favorite. Oh my God. So much good news that I'm so excited to talk about this weekend. It's unexpected. I'm so excited.
Which one?
We'll get to it.
Okay. Hopefully I remembered it.
It's on the docket.
It's on the docket.
Well, Mark Millar.
Not this one.
Okay. Mark Millar and Netflix have announced a new comic book collaboration.
What's it called?
King of Spies.
That's okay. Super Crooks.
All right.
King of Spies.
I wanted to put this on here because it kind of pissed me off.
Okay.
This is what the press release said. King of Spies will be a graphic novel written by Mark Millar and drawn by an unannounced artist based on designs created by Millar's team at Netflix.
So they're doing the thing where they make the comic just to make it into the show. Yeah, that's his jam.
But it's we always knew this, but I'm kind of frustrated that like they just explicitly said it. Like Mark Millar says, "What if we did this?" And then someone else on his design team creates the thing, and then he gets credit for writing the comic. That just so that they could make a TV show or a movie based off of it. It's just so frustrating to me.
I'm with you, but I'm less mad about it because Netflix bought him already. So like anything that would get made is going to get made with Netflix no matter what. So like this doesn't surprise me. It's just like it's still shitty. It's still shitty that like
he sold his soul to the devil.
He
So he's got to go work.
Exactly. And like it does suck that like it's even more transparent of like I'm making comics to make movies out of them. Like it's there's no transparency whatsoever anymore. Like he's bought by Netflix. I just want him to make good shit. That's all I just do. Can you do it?
I do hope that this book ends up being good because I like it more than I also think it can make a really cool movie. They've spoken that they want Pierce Brosnan as the lead of the movie, and if you look at the cover art that has already been created, it looks like Pierce Brosnan as the main character.
That's so funny, man. Because like the comic's not even made yet.
Yeah.
That's so I hate.
I know he's bought by Netflix. I know Netflix is going to do it no matter what. But this is the fact that they're like, oh, we're looking at Pierce Brosnan. Is like the book isn't. You're putting 3 carts before you even buy a damn horse.
And like Jupiter's Legacy was like a disaster, and I'm just like, man, they really got to commit because they spent all that money.
That Jupiter's Legacy Super Crooks, the Super Crooks book, is not a spin-off of Jupiter's Legacy in the comics. It is but they're going to make it into one for the show.
Do what you got to do, I guess.
Bloody hell!
This is what the book's about.
I really want to hear like Netflix doing spin-offs of some stuff, or not even spin-offs. When I hear Netflix properties or Netflix things, I'm like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And then just for some reason, hearing stuff about martial arts shit, I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm done.
Well, I mean, it's just like Netflix has every egg in every basket. They have so much stuff. That's why they're going to be in debt for all time. Like they
speaking of shows, that new Resident Evil show is out, and it's only 4 episodes, which I didn't know.
It's only 4? Oh, okay.
I've heard like mediocre things about it.
It's 4 episodes. I could get it done in an hour. I think I'm going to check it out.
Right.
Oh my god! If it's if it's short, I can do that.
Yeah, it's 20 episodes. It's 4 20 episodes. 20-minute episodes.
So short.
I really wonder how much it'll mean to you as someone who's not steeped in the games, Brandon.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah,
I'm curious.
This is like a sequel to 6.
Yeah, I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what the book's about. King of Spies. Diagnosed with cancer and 6 months left to live, Sir Roland King, a spy, has gone rogue, and he knows where all the bodies are buried. Now it's time to go after the real monsters.
That sounds like a murder book. Sure. Yeah, okay.
Well, one last hurrah book. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan.
James Bond, back at it.
Right.
Pierce Brosnan already had his best one last hurrah movies. They were After the Sunset and The Matador.
The Matador.
And there is no point in this bullshit.
Oh, wait, he has one more old man role, and it's going to be Dr. Fate. Yep.
That's the one.
No, but it's not. But it's not a last hurrah.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
I mean,
gotcha.
like both those movies are about his character doing a last hurrah.
You're right. No, yeah, Matador is absolutely that. God, that movie's sick. I own that movie.
That's with William H. Macy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only saw like clips of it. I never actually watched it.
I haven't seen it in ages. Now we got a lot of DC stuff.
Damn.
There's a lot of really good DC news this week, you guys. It's pretty cool.
Batman the Imposter.
Real quick. So the last couple of weeks and months, we've talked about all of these Batman books and how we're not really excited about them. They're generic. They're just a bunch of white people. Even Tom Taylor, who's doing a Batman book, not interested. I'm almost interested in all of these Batman books because they're all unique and they're all diverse titles and they're all diverse writers. So I'm pretty stoked about
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's not William H. Macy.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's Greg Kinnear.
That's William H. Macy light.
I've heard great things about the Batman line right now. I'm kind of bummed that I'm not reading it, but I chose X-Men instead. So
yeah,
I think I got the better end of that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Batman the Imposter will be written by Mattson Tomlin, who is the screenwriter for the Batman film, directed by Matt Reeves, and with art by Andrea Sorrentino, who did Green Arrow, Old Man Logan, Gideon Falls.
Oh yeah,
this will be a Black Series 3-issue miniseries.
Black Label.
Black Label. Director and screenwriter. I didn't write the whole synopsis because it was really long.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of abbreviated. Director and screenwriter Mattson Tomlin has teamed up with Eisner-winning suspense and horror artist Andrea Sorrentino to create a wholly new version of Gotham City, informed by grim reality where every punch leaves a broken bone and every action has consequences far, far beyond Batman's imagination.
So this just seems like it's another Elseworld story, but like just like really realistic. Just like, yeah, like fights will F you up. Like one fight will F you up.
What if Batman?
What if Batman but real? I know that sounds silly, but like Batman can like take on Darkseid. So like, what if Batman were real? Yeah.
If Andrea Sorrentino wasn't attached to this, I wouldn't be interested.
Same, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because I really like that guy's artwork, but as we've just alluded to, I've seen this 15 times in the last decade.
Yeah, there's a lot of books we're about to talk about. This isn't the one that I'm most excited for, but I am interested in it.
Yeah, because I love Andrea Sorrentino.
Yeah.
Arkham City: The Order of the World, which was written by Dan Waters with art by Danny, colors by Dave Stewart. Be a 6-issue miniseries. This is in canon.
Mm-hmm.
This fall, join writer Dan Waters and artist Danny on an odyssey through the deepest depths and darkest shadows of Gotham City and find all new reasons to fear the night. Basically, after the Joker killed everyone in Arkham, didn't kill everyone in Arkham, but some people got out. These are kind of the lower tier villains who now have to deal with Azrael.
Yeah, Dan Waters is the guy who writes Homesick Pilots, which is one of my favorite books out. So, and Danny is a really great independent artist that they've worked on other independent books with that they're bringing into DC. So, like, this is all like it's like the lowest of the low of the rogues gallery, and like a lot of new characters and stuff. So, like, it's a new diverse team of characters. I'm interested, at least the first issue.
And Azrael is a cool character to bring back.
I do like Azrael. I like him a whole lot. And funny enough, because Brandon, when you said Arkham City, my first thought was like, the game? They're doing something with the game again?
I had the same thought.
No, just the city's name.
Task Force Z.
Ooh, this one's wild.
Matthew Rosenberg and Eddie Barrows are teaming up for Task Force Z. I don't want to read the whole thing. Red Hood is going to team up with zombie versions of villains.
Yes. So, as Brandon said earlier, a lot of the inmates at Arkham were murdered, and DC is doing a thing where they're bringing in a new Arkham Asylum that's going to be completely different. It's going to change Gotham forever. Everything is different or whatever. But all of these villains are dead, and there's these two Frankenstein ladies are in charge of this new Task Force Z, and they're basically reanimating corpses. Like, hey, you get to stay alive as long as you do missions for us. So it's Suicide Squad, but they're zombies. So it's like deceased. But I really like Matthew Rosenberg, so like I'm gonna give this the first issue. The cover looks sick. The two Frankenstein ladies look awesome. They're new characters. Red Hood's cool.
For those of you who read Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman run, Mr. Bloom, the lanky flower dude, he's in this book.
The James Gordon villain, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I saw that, I was like, oh damn, okay, I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, it's got a cool roster, and I definitely like all of these. I want to check out at least the first issue because again, there's 1,000 Batman books, but like these are the ones I am interested in.
I completely forgot about Mr. Bloom. Holy crap!
Me too. Then Catwoman, Lonely City, Black Label 4-issue miniseries coming from writer-artist Cliff Chiang.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is do you have this listed or no?
I do.
Cool.
Part of it. Visionary creator Cliff Chiang writes, draws, colors, and letters the story of a world without Batman, where one woman's wounds threaten to tear apart an entire city. It's an unmissable artistic statement that will change the way you see Gotham's heroes and villains forever. Catwoman is going to try and rob the Batcave. Yeah.
So it's going to be an Elseworld story where Batman's not as involved, and Catwoman is kind of rising through the ranks and becoming like.
Well, Batman's dead.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, this is after like old. Think of it as an old woman Catwoman.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was tied to like the Tom King stuff. It's like it seems like it's stemming some of that stuff. But yeah, I love everything that Catwoman's been in the last couple of years at DC. Thanks to Tom King. So like again, it's only 4 issues. Cliff Chiang rules.
Yeah, Cliff Chiang rocks. DC versus vampires. You've heard of Deceased. Now you ever hear of vampires? I kind of wish they come up with a better title, like Deceased. Like The Vampires. That's terrible.
Because like they have a book called I, Vampire, so they could have done something with I, Vampire. But
oh man, I, Vampire is great.
Yeah, Andrea Sorrentino. That's the first DC book.
You know what? I kind of feel bad because when I first saw I, Vampire on the New 52 list, I was like, man, that book is going to be bad. I don't know. I just saw the vampires.
Why would you judge a book just off of? Also, the covers were great because they were Andrea Sorrentino covers. So I don't know what you were judging it off of.
The dark era, the dark sector of the New 52, the Demon Knights, I, Vampire, Justice League Dark, all that was really cool.
I don't know why. Brian, I am confessing my sins to you, sir. I don't know why I thought it was really bad. I don't know if that is because that was also during it was coming down from the high of all the vampire shit that we were getting back then. But I was like, oh great, more effing vampires. Like we don't get enough of that. So
that was the first time he bought comics also. So
I will give you the oversaturation of vampire stuff in that era. I will give you that. So, yeah.
Especially just like what is a vampire?
Yes.
But now
Edward.
But now I want to read it because I have heard nothing but great things about I, Vampire. I'm like, man, I was an idiot because
Resurrection Man. Resurrection Man was awesome.
It was.
Okay, DC versus vampires, Ben. DC versus vampires, Ben.
Yeah, vampires.
James Tynion IV is writing this with Matthew Rosenberg, two great creators, with art by Otto Schmidt.
Ooh, Otto.
This is going to be a 12-issue maxi series. This is Elseworlds. The Justice League has long protected Earth from all manner of foreign and alien invaders over the years, always keeping a vigilant eye to the skies for the next threat. But what if the threat was already walking the earth, hiding in plain sight, watching, waiting for their moment to strike?
Excuse me. This seems like it's like a deceased but like secret invasion with vampires. Because like if they're like, oh, they're lurking and they've been waiting here the whole time, like if this is an Elseworlds thing, hell yeah. It's not Tom Taylor, but like I love Tinian and Rosenberg. So
Yeah, both these creators. James Tinian has been doing some of his best work in the past couple of years.
He's getting paid.
Yeah, Matthew Rosenberg is great. We're gonna leave the Batman world of Infinite Frontier and go to Wonder Woman.
Hell yeah, baby.
Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, a new 3-issue miniseries coming from Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Phil Jimenez, Gene Ha, and Nicola Scott.
Woo.
The solicitation for this one says, the wait is over and the entire story of the Amazons can finally be told. Millennia ago, Queen Hera and the goddess of the Olympian pantheon grew greatly dissatisfied with their male counterparts, and far from their sight. They put a plan into action. A new society was born, one never before seen on Earth, capable of wondrous and terrible things, but their existence could not stay secret for long. When a aspiring woman named Hippolyta crossed the Amazons' path, a series of events was set in motion that would lead to an outright war in heaven and the creation of the Earth's greatest guardian.
Wow.
So like a super origin for the Amazons.
I'm cool with that. Did you already say the creative team on that one or no?
Kelly Sue DeConnick is writing it, and I said the artist as well.
Phil Jimenez, yeah. Kelly Sue DeConnick rules. I want her to do more mainstream stuff. She does a lot of indie stuff. She needs to come back. That's great.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people have been waiting for this book for a while. So it's cool that it's coming out. I hadn't heard of it until now. Though I have a Wonder Woman book that this reminded me of. I don't know where it is. Nubia and the Amazons. They also announced the Wonder Woman 80th, but we're not going to talk about it because we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
There was no new anything. But Nubia and the Amazons. Nubia is the current queen of Themyscira. And this one is written by Vita Ayala and Stephanie Williams with art by Aletha Martinez.
I'm going to correct you real quick, only because I just listened to an interview with Stephanie Williams. Vita Ayala is not writing this book. Her name is second in credits. Everyone is giving Vita credit. She is doing the story and co-plotting. She is not scripting this comic. So I just want to make sure we get that out of the way, because Stephanie Williams is an up-and-coming writer who's not getting the credit for this book that she is writing. Vita is basically helping her with the stories, being her mentor for her first book. I just want to get that out of the way because Stephanie Williams is very cool. She's the first Black woman to ever write Monica Rambeau in 40 years. Just ruminate on that for a second. She wrote in Marvel Pride.
Yeah.
She's great. She has so many cool ideas for this comic.
Marvel Voices Pride.
Yeah, Marvel Voices Pride. No, there was the Marvel Voices, just the Indigenous Pride stuff too that came out as well before that.
Right, Marvel Voices in general.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear, like for audience members, I knew what you were talking about,
Yes.
but I want to be clear for audience members if they want to go look up these books. Marvel Voices, which you should. The Marvel Voices line is very good. They had a Pride issue. They had the Indigenous issue. Yes.
The lots of good stuff. But Stephanie Williams is like also one of the first people, like the first Black woman to write Batman, and I'm just like, she's broken every milestone. And she seems like a really cool person. So I'm definitely going to pick this book up. Please read the solicit because it's really great.
Real quickly, it is a 6-issue miniseries and inks by Mark Morales.
Yeah.
But the solicitation reads, after the thrilling events of Infinite Frontier, Nubia becomes queen of Themyscira. But the new title also brings challenges. With the unexpected arrival of new Amazons, our hero is forced to reckon with her past and forge a new path forward for her sisters. Little does she know, a great evil grows beneath the island, and it's up to this former guardian of Doom's doorway to unite her tribe before paradise is lost forever.
Yeah, so Nubia is the current queen because Hippolyta is on the Justice League and Wonder Woman is doing her own thing. Themyscira is Krakoa now. Themyscira is open to all women on Earth, and that includes all trans women. And Stephanie specifically mentioned that in her post, in her interview. So I'm very excited because this is going to be an entirely new era for Themyscira with regular women coming to the island to train to be better people. This is super exciting. Again, Nubia is a character who has literally like 12 appearances in like 40 years. Again, this is not me. This is me regurgitating information I just learned. This is not me knowing it. But Nubia is a character that has such a following because she's a Black Wonder Woman, but they've never done anything with her. So this is the first time that she's ever actually been given a series, and she's like the leader of the Amazons, and she's a gay lesbian. Or a Black gay lesbian. I'm just like, that is so incredible. And this book, she so specifically said, if you don't buy this book, if you don't buy the first issue, you're killing this book. Trade waiting on books like this is what kills the industry. So if you guys are at all interested in diversity in comics, please buy this number one. Yeah. Please buy this number one. It's so important. It's so important because if nobody buys this comic, guess what? Nubia's gone again.
It's really nice that that the Wonder Woman line is expanding, much like the Batman line. I think that we've talked about how many books the Batman line has, but
yeah,
the other corners of the DC universe, the other heroes in the Trinity, also deserve just as many. So it's nice that when they do get these spin-offs, remember when Aquaman had the others.
Yeah. And the Wonder Woman line, it's all being written by women right now. So that's never happened before, which is a bummer. When you think about it, that's stupid that it's taken this long. We're like, oh, the entire office is run by women. I'm like, that's why I'm super stoked for the direction that DC is going in right now. They are doing the diversity thing that I want. You just got to buy the books to show that, to support that. So
they're doing
excited.
They're doing the diversity thing, but they're doing it in pockets, and we got to get them to start doing it across the board.
No, I know, but you still have to buy these books.
I'm supporting your point and saying that it's unfortunately still just on these side things.
I agree, yeah.
So I'm supporting you. I'm saying go buy it.
Please. Appreciate you.
All right. Out of the comic book news, there's no more comics.
All right, I'm gone. Bye.
Okay. Well, Tiger King, the Nicolas Cage series that was coming to Amazon.
Oh, that one that no one ever needed ever?
Oh, yeah.
I want to be sure it's the Nicolas Cage one, not the Kate McKinnon one. Because there are two of those.
That one's soon to follow in cancellation, I'm almost certain.
Probably.
Well, Amazon has decided not to go forward with their Tiger King adaptation. So Nicolas Cage will not be playing Joe Exotic.
You know why I think that these things aren't going to come to pass is because we're now a year away and everyone realized that Tiger King was really big for that moment.
Yep.
And now that moment is over. We're done. that moment happened and it passed. It's done.
Joe Exotic.
It's not something you can franchise into a bunch of successes.
Yeah, his 15 minutes of fame are done. Don't give him any more time.
What a crazy moment that was, though.
Oh, Mag. Oh, I want to see Pig so bad, my friend. I can't even tell you.
I mean, this has nothing to do with Nicolas Cage. It would have been fun to watch him be Joe Exotic. Unlike an SNL skit, I don't need to watch a whole show. I watched a show about Joe Exotic. I'm done with it.
For real.
Then I'm done with this topic. Star Trek had some news this week. We got a new director, Matt Shakman, who directed WandaVision, will direct the next Chris Pine Star Trek movie.
Man, what a guy! He went from directing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then he did an episode of Game of Thrones, and then he did WandaVision, and now he's directing Star Trek. I just love seeing the trajectory of people like that. That's so cool.
So they're still making Chris Pine Star Trek movies?
So the thing is, initially we had heard that Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth couldn't come to a deal to return together, and they scrapped the fourth Star Trek film and in that rendition, and then they opened up a Star Trek writers' room. What came out of it were 3 Star Trek scripts that were in active development. One written by Quentin Tarantino, one that is a sequel to the Chris Pine, and then one unknown Noah Hawley film. Now it looks like obviously the Tarantino one didn't happen, and the Noah Hawley one looks like it's not happening either. So this film is the only one remaining, and it has had 3 directors attached to it now. So Matt Shakman is the 4th.
I'm just glad we're gonna get one more movie with the cast, because I really like those guys.
I just hope it's as good as the last one.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, because I just, if you're gonna take this much time, I hope that it's that strong.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that Justin Lin is not returning, but he's making all that money on Fast and Furious again.
Yeah,
so.
I care far more about finding out who's going to write this movie, to be honest.
All right, well, let me tell you. The film has a script written by Lindsay Beer, who wrote Sierra Burgess is a Loser and has a ton of movies coming out.
One of those up and coming, makes a lot of movies before they're out person.
Right. She said she did Sierra Burgess is a Loser. She wrote that, and then she was attached to everything afterwards. I'll pull up a list as I read the last bit. And Genevieve Robertson, who wrote Tomb Raider and Captain Marvel.
Okay.
So Simon Pegg's not returning to help write this?
No, he would have done it with Justin Lin.
Okay.
So Lindsay Beer and her now writing partner Geneva Robertson are attached to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the Seth Rogen one, the Pet Sematary prequel coming to Paramount Plus, Silver Sable, Mask. When I think that's still happening.
Okay.
And now Star Trek.
Wow, it's a lot of properties.
Yeah, and a couple others that we're just probably not going to even know about.
Yeah.
I'm glad this cast is coming back. I'm just bummed Justin Lin didn't want to come back.
Yeah. I mean, he trades one family for another. I get it.
Yeah. And he probably would have returned if they had not waited so long to figure out what they wanted to do with Star Trek.
It's true.
Because they clearly didn't know what they wanted to do after Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So at least now we have a direction, if this even happens.
Yeah.
Real quick Loki news. We talked about a bit on the Fake Nerd Watch episode coming out, but it has renewed for a second season.
Ooh.
The first live action to get a second season.
I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
Yeah, first one was pretty decent. I hope they do a better job in the second one.
You can find out our thoughts on all that on the Fake Nerd Watch series episode coming up this week. And the Steam Deck was announced.
Boy.
Y'all got some time.
Oh, boy.
We got to talk.
So,
Is Ben about to be a baby about this?
Real quickly, Ben, because I know you were gonna want some room to go. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. I just got why it's called Steam. As I was writing the episode, I was like, "Oh, it's a valve, and they let off steam."
That's fair. I mean, it's not something you like. You don't use Steam very often, so why would you think?
okay,
about
to
it?
be fair, I did not know that either.
No,
So-
you guys are cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Hey, Ben,
so
just
the
never
Steam,
thought about it long enough.
so the Steam Deck that
Yeah,
was announced. So
Steam
go for
Deck. Damn, this is definitely one of the times, and I feel like I'm getting more and more active on Twitter. I'm seeing some of the murky underbelly of it. I know it's there. I know you guys have seen a lot worse than I have, but holy shit, I saw some vitriol because of this announcement, both for and against him too. It was just like, yikes.
Well, that's the internet for you.
Yeah, that's the internet for you. I mean, all in all, I think it's a pretty decent idea. I mean,
Ben, it's not a decent. Ben, this isn't a decent idea. This is an incredible idea. And you're not a PC gamer, so this doesn't really mean anything for you. And this isn't me
Au contraire, my friend. Do you know what it means for Ben? He can play his Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on a handheld and dock it into his television.
Yeah.
Shut the F up.
What I mean
about
is,
the PC
he's not a
gaming.
PC gamer. If he was, this would be the greatest deal of a lifetime, is what I mean.
Oh, sure.
This is if you're not already engaged, this is something to get you in.
Yeah.
But
this is your big taste.
This is a big taste. So the Steam Deck, it's basically just a portable gaming system for Steam. It's like a Nintendo Switch that you can dock. It's a portable PC. The thing that separates it from just being that, it's still a PC, so you could still run all the other applications on it. You can use it like a web browser. It's still a PC. It just looks like a Nintendo Switch. The great thing about this is it has open browser, so you can use Xbox Game Pass on this. So every single Xbox Game Pass game you own, which is 300, you can play on the go. You can play every Halo on the go now from now on. Halo Infinite's going to launch a mobile game from now that this thing's going to come out. This literally is changing so much for regular video games. It's kind of bonkers. It's the fact that it hasn't happened yet is kind of bonkers as well. This is I'm pretty stoked for this thing.
I think everybody assumed, and rightly so, that it was too expensive to do.
Yeah.
And it is.
It is.
But they're doing it anyway.
They're doing it at a loss.
Yeah, but now here's my one little caveat to the Steam Deck. Do I want one? Possibly. I like the fact that because as it's already said, I'm not a PC gamer. My PC that I have right now is not even close to the specs that I want to do to play high-end PC games. Not even close.
Steam Deck is.
Yes, exactly. But here's the thing. This is not Valve's first foray into hardware. What happened to the Steam controller? What happened to their box?
Yeah.
What happened
you
to
tell me, Ben, what happened to it?
They
Nothing
died.
happened to it. Yeah.
They were crappy. So
Still
just
selling them.
looking at their track record for hardware, it's not that good. Does that mean I'm automatically putting this under the rug? Of course not. There's always a chance for them to actually nail it. So as much as excited as I am, as much as I'm happy for people who, like me, who don't have gaming PCs and now can get into this, like if I get a Steam Deck, I'm definitely gonna get Xbox Game Pass. You bet your ass I'm gonna do it. But I'm going optimistic. I'm going in cautiously optimistic because I remember the hubbubaloo about the Steam controller, about the Steam controller, and then that nothing. It just no one talked about it. No one uses it as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, they still sell Steam hardware that you can buy. Like you can still buy that stuff.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't do well doesn't mean it died. It just wasn't popular. The Steam machines were just gaming consoles for your PC, and they were too expensive. That's what they're correcting on. They died because they're too expensive, and they're learning from that now. It wasn't bad equipment. It was just overpriced, much like the PlayStation 3 was, but everyone loved the PlayStation 3, right?
Eventually.
Yeah. $400 for this thing is a steal.
It is.
It should be
only $400.
Yeah. That's
it's at tiered pricing. It's for how
storage.
Yeah, for storage essentially, and you can always rig more storage down the line.
They have a slot you can put an SD card.
Right.
In. Yeah.
So so that's not really limiting. Yeah. So they're doing tiered pricing because they want people to feel like they can get in on this. And again, what's insane about it is the amount of hardware to make this possible is expensive, but they're selling it at a loss.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at long-term investment. As I described to Megan earlier when we were explaining, I'm like, this is like in video games when Disney Plus went $6 a month for a streaming service while other things were asking for $8 or higher.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. This is them saying you buy in at this and we believe that it will sell enough units that it's eventually going to make back the costs for sure. Because not only will it make back costs on the consoles, it'll make back costs on new people coming to the platform to play more games than they ever have before. Yeah. Or to an example, Ben, this is the best way you'll ever be able to run Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get the PC copy and run it on a mobile. Who cares about having these things on Switch now?
No.
Most of these things, who gives a shit? So you can run Knights of the Old Republic on this thing and then dock it and put it on your television and then take it on the go.
Yeah.
It's not just what is this going to do for the future of these games that are offered on this service for going forward now that they're doing this. It's also this huge back catalog. Some things that were only shared between PlayStation 1 or 2 and PC, and now you can just do them. You can just have them on your PC thing, but it's here like a Switch.
The thing, if Nintendo didn't have such an insanely good first-party catalog of games, Mario, Zelda, all those, this would kill the Switch, for real. If Nintendo didn't have Mario and Zelda, this is the best handheld thing that Microsoft and Sony could never compete with this.
I will take it one note further, which is that now Nintendo's going to feel the pressure under their ass to release their old backlog titles.
Yeah.
This is going to be yo, I'm sorry, what? You're not putting out the old Zeldas?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just put the emulator here. Excuse me.
Yeah. And again, Steam is a digital library. But I've had this same digital library for 15 years of my life. And there are games that are I haven't touched this game since 2011. And it's all cataloged. And the fact that I can have my entire gaming history on the go now, PlayStation games are now coming to
plus
PC,
your Xbox stuff,
plus all the games on Xbox, plus Epic Games, plus the Ubisoft store. It's just it's too good to be true, and it's because they are selling it at a loss. They know what they're doing. They're we want to do something really cool for gamers, and it's gonna suck for us now, but it's gonna work out in the end. Just like Xbox Game Passes they're doing a loss right now.
Yeah, and I agree. A lot of the vitriol that I was seeing is of people who were saying that this is going to destroy Nintendo. How dare Nintendo even think that they can compete? Whereas other people are fighting back, and they're of course calling names. And it's essentially the console wars of the '90s, but dialed up a little bit because there's a lot more bad language I can't say.
Nintendo has had such a grip on the handheld industry for so long.
Nintendo
and it really looks like Ben, and it really looks interesting that someone actually came up with a competitor that could rival it for the first time in ages.
even when Sega, Atari, and eventually Sony threw their hats into the ring, like if you were to look at a Game Gear, a Lynx, which was Atari's handheld, and the Game Boy back in 1989, you would think the Game Gear and the Ataris would destroy the Game Boy. How because they had backlit screens, and B, they were in full color, whereas the Game Boy was monochrome. But for some reason, those systems were killed by the wayside because you can play games longer on the Game Boy, and they were cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lynx Game Gear, they guzzled AA batteries. You were spending more money on AA batteries than you were playing the games. And that continued out throughout its entire life. The things that were keeping Nintendo afloat during the Wii U years, during the GameCube era, it was the Game Boy Advance and the 3DS, and the DS games. Those were helping keeping Nintendo afloat while their consoles weren't doing the best. And so I don't think this is obviously Nintendo's a $1 billion company. They're gonna find a way to bounce back. They're gonna release a game, and everyone's gonna be like, "Holy shit, we need this game!" You can only play on Switch, so people are gonna get another Switch to play.
I don't think Nintendo's gonna go out of business because of this.
Yeah, Nintendo's gonna be completely fine.
Yeah, Nintendo's gonna be fine.
The Switch will still be popular, and the main thing is that you can't get PC games. You can't get Nintendo games on your PC.
Yeah,
like that's just not going to happen. So like the Switch is still going to it's fine. It's fine.
I'm still going to buy a new Switch.
Yeah, they'll still make but are you buying it as soon?
It depends on what comes out first.
Yeah. But Nintendo's just going to have to work a little harder to show that it appreciates its fans.
Yeah,
because I will tell you the thing where they're going to take the dip. That Nintendo eShop is about to lose a whole bunch of those indie game sales.
Yeah.
With this thing,
they are going Steam to go has so many sales.
They're going to go to the Steam. They're going to go to the Steam store now.
That's the biggest thing for third-party games. Like Doom Eternal and The Witcher 3 are on the Switch. Those are two games that do not run well on that system. Now that this portable PC is coming out, the Switch is going to lose the third-party games, the customer base, I think, a little bit.
Even with games like not Tomb Raider. Oh, okay. Here's a good example: Guardians of the Galaxy. That was announced for Switch, correct?
Yeah.
That's a cloud gaming. That's a cloud-based game. You have to have an internet connection to fully play and to play Guardians of the Galaxy correctly, because the hardware, like for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they have the hardware built in. That's fine. They can put a disc and you're good to go. Right. Whereas for the Switch, you have to have an internet connection at all times to be able to play that, and that's
too weak,
glitchy and buggy as hell.
Always something that people knew was going to come up with the Switch. They have to put out a new system, something newer than even the OLED that they announced, which is something that's going to actually meet the standards of what next-gen console gaming is supposed to be. And eventually they're going to have to get there. But the bigger, more immediate backlash they're going to see from this, should this system prove as effective as I think it will, is those indie games. Yeah. The Switch, I can't tell you how many indie games I bought on the Switch rather than buying it on my PlayStation or my Xbox or even my PC, because I'm like, I want to just be able to do that on the go. Yeah. This is a great little indie game for on the go. That is going to change.
It is. Also being $400, that is very, very cheap considering what this machine can do. Or what it's advertising it can do.
It's not as strong as a PS5. I want everyone to know, you're not getting a portable PlayStation 5, but it is so much stronger than the Switch. It's like a PlayStation Pro. It is pretty good.
But essentially getting a getting a handheld gaming PC with the right specs for me to play PC games and possibly stream better and be able to do more stuff with it than I can with my own PC that I have right here sitting next to me. Hell yeah.
And don't forget, you can dock it.
There you go. You got me.
When they first announced it, I didn't know if you were going to be able to dock it. And then I watched the interview and you can dock it. So if the game goes to 4K on your TV, you can do it on your TV in 4K. The thing will be 720p. And I'm like, baby, that's great. It's a handheld thing. I'm not looking for 4K. They didn't want to make a 4K handheld because that would be way too expensive. Right. And they're thinking logistically and smart. And I'm like, man, this really looks
and they're like, yo, that dock thing's pretty smart. And it's like, well, we just do it.
Yeah. And they were so cool in the interview. They're like, yeah, you can buy our dock or don't. You can just buy any third-party USB and it'll work. They were like, we don't care. You can just do it. We just want you to play games. And it's the Xbox. It's the Microsoft approach of stop being so thinking in one direction and thinking wide. And they're like, man, that's how you make more money. Just think about everybody.
It's a guarantee at some point I pick up one of these. It's just going to make gaming such a much more enjoyable and broader spectrum for me.
Yeah.
The fact that anything I could have access to on Game Pass, because I have Game Pass anyway, I can also just have wherever I want on the go, the same way I do with a Switch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When I first saw this, I thought I'd misread it. Then I thought it was a prank.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my God, this is real.
Yeah.
Wow. Video games just changed.
Yeah.
Steam has had a good track record of changing the landscape of video games ever since Steam.
You're right. That's very true.
Okay. Trailers?
Let's go to the trailer part.
You know, I had XXX on my PSP.
Oh, the UMD.
The game or the movie?
The movie.
Okay.
All right. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Well, this
I'm
is
not
just
sure if you guys want.
I like Smash Brothers.
I love Smash Brothers. I've seen some Smash Bros. Clones. This is
I'll
definitely.
tell you what. This has all the characters that I want. Probably plus
Almost.
more. Almost, but like the ones that like, oh, I didn't expect that. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, Reptar got me.
Reptar got me.
Yeah, Reptar
definitely
got me.
got me.
Danny Phantom.
Danny, yeah, like
I was
it's not.
happy-
I'm waiting for someone very particular, and if this game is successful, I'm sure he'll come.
Mhm.
And it's the Crimson Chin.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So this was the first trailer. So like we don't know like how smashy it is. Like, will there be trophies? Will there be like, you know, people to bring in? Like maybe the Crimson Chin is like oh, you bring him in, he punches or something. Like,
Bring me the Rocket Power kids who like just skateboard over people. Yeah.
that would be cool. That would be the Rocket Power Kids would be great.
Look, if you ever wanted to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle kick Reptar's ass, there you go.
No,
Oh,
you know
please,
who else
my
got me?
son.
You know who else got me? I was like, hold up, I haven't seen this character in like 15 plus years. Powdered Toast Man.
that's what I
Oh, yeah.
said. I couldn't believe it.
Powdered Toast Man was a freaking spin-off of Ren and Stimpy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
They bring in Powdered freaking Toast Man, and he's the second character to be
That's all I
shown.
knew.
I was
Also-
genuinely shocked that we didn't see Jimmy Neutron or Timmy.
Fairly Odd
I'm
Parents.
guessing-
Yeah, any Fairly Odd Parents characters. I was like, I'm stunned.
I'm sure they're saving some.
I'm
I
sure
got
Jimmy
it.
Neutron especially.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm pretty sure they're doing the Smash Bros thing, where they're going to announce more characters before they announce the DLC.
I'm
Because
sure.
instead more because I remember seeing somewhere that they're going to announce more characters. It's another character that got me threw me for a loop. Was like, hold up, what? Nigel Thornberry is a fighter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to fight with Plankton so bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sandy, SpongeBob, and Patrick, they're like the Mario characters essentially because Mario has like the most slots in Smash Bros. But
Yeah.
who's the face of Nickelodeon right now? SpongeBob.
Didn't PlayStation try to do a
They
what's
sure
up,
did.
PlayStation All Stars?
They
Tried.
sure did, Brandon. And
Yeah.
it's best not to talk about it.
Kratos
Yeah.
versus Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, keyword there. Tried.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the roster to be perfectly honest. I mean, the roster so far. So, but
I don't think I'll buy it like immediately, but like it could be a fun game.
Reptar got me like, you put this on Game Pass and I'll play it for sure.
Oh, Mag's got a good
Invader Zim as well.
Oh,
Yeah. Penny the robot. Yeah.
Team Robot.
Oh, Jenny.
yeah. My life
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Teen
Jen-
Robot.
Yeah, XJ9, My Life as a Teenage Robot. John Riley also says, I am excited but cautious. Developer does not have a real good track record.
Oh, that's a shame.
Agreed.
I didn't even look at the developer.
Agreed.
I
Hi,
didn't
John.
All right.
Definitely like would love Ginger from As Told by Ginger to just like come out with a chair.
They get a live action Melissa Joan Hart for Clarissa Explains It All.
Okay.
Man, I feel like we could just throw a dart at the wall at a Nintendo cast of characters and then, you know who you good a fighter? Vicky.
I saw a clip. Yeah, I saw a clip real quickly from the 2009 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show where they go through the different multiverse of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this giant evil Shredder is about to kill the original comic book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to erase all of the TMNTs throughout time in the universe. I was like, oh, this show went hard. I kind of want to check that out.
I've heard nothing but good things about like the past 3 TMNT shows. Apparently, like that franchise.
I really want to watch like now. we have access to Paramount Plus through Megan's sister.
Ooh.
And they have all of the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, which just looks like an anime.
Yeah, it looks sick.
I want to watch it so bad.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of clips online. Yeah,
I shared a clip online of this really sweet action sequence, and I was like, "Oh dang, this looks awesome."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ninja Turtles, man. They're kicking ass.
IDW is finally collecting the first run of their TMNT run, and a soft cover. I'm going to pick it up.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Wait, you don't want the character hardcovers that they do?
That's expensive.
One more thing from Mag. He says that TMNT Forever is highly recommended after the 2003 show ended.
Oh, okay.
Keep it noted.
Reservation Dogs.
Yo, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi.
This is, he's producing it. Yeah, I love finding new perspectives in life, and I've never seen anything like this. I don't know anything about living on a reservation, like a Native American reservation. It's very alien to me. So it's just they're just regular people, and that's what's so fascinating and so cool about this. It's just regular people living in life, but they're separate on a reservation, dealing with that. I'm like, it's
the
so
year,
weird.
It's the year 2021, and we can finally have something on television that actually shows what it's like to live on a reservation.
Yeah.
And not in the sense ooh, how exotic and different, but just be hey, by the way, this is how people live.
Yeah.
That you probably don't know about, and you're like, yeah, you're right. I should watch this. Thanks.
Yeah. It's got really natural acting, and the comedy's really good,
really entertaining. And easy.
And all the kids look great, and again, it's a slice of life that I've never seen before, and that instantly attracted it to me.
And this is Taika Waititi a couple months ago said that this is kind of supposed to be a comedy version of Reservoir Dogs.
So yeah, I saw the name and I'm like, was it actually? Then it is.
They're in the suits.
Yeah.
One moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really charming. You guys are the best thieves I know in this town, and it's a small town. It looks charming. Yeah,
or when the tip truck goes across and the dude's just on his phone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely excited for this.
It's FX, so I trust it's going to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
This took me by surprise. Monster Hunter: Legends of the Guild.
Yeah, I like Monster Hunter, baby.
Dante Bosco playing teenagers for 30 years.
Forever.
I had no idea another Monster Hunter project was in the works.
Nobody did.
I didn't either. I'm not 100% sold on the animation. It's not terrible.
It's better than a lot of the others.
It's definitely better. It looks like Monster Hunter. It's got all the monsters, they're hunting. I like that it's doing the pro hunting angle of why we are hunters, and these creatures are coming in and affecting the environment. It's what the Elder Dragons do. They come and they F up natural environments. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's lore from the game, and
they have a relationship with their environment, that kind of thing. Yeah, I definitely encouraged to at least pay attention to how it's received.
Yeah, I'll check the reviews out before I give it a shot. But I'm
its only real detriment is it just might be too darn kiddie, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like when nature preserves, they drop in predators to thin the deer herd, because deer, if left unchecked, they can destroy the ecosystem.
Yes.
So they have to airdrop wolves to control the deer population.
We're always
wolves with parachutes.
We're always one divot in the wolf population away from the deers ruining us all.
Because people are like, "Oh no, save the deer."
I really
is out there looking at me saying, "Soon."
I really like the idea of them airdropping wolves.
Hell yeah, dude!
All right. Just like the I'm thinking the small version of the wolf from Rampage with the wings just floating down.
Yeah.
No, there's this meme that's been making the rounds for years that I see every once in a while, but it talks about how wolves are airdropped into Yellowstone to control the deer population, and someone drew a wolf in a parachute staring at a deer, and it brings out a knife I'm gonna get you,
like Rambo.
Yeah, like freaking Rambo.
I just remember. I just remembered the comic about the flamingos killing the T-Rex.
This is why the moment in Adventure Time where the deer stands up on its two legs and pops its hoods off and has feathers is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, one more really random fact. You want to know the natural predator of the moose? Orcas.
Yeah. Oh,
killer whales are the natural predator of the moose, because moose can dive down 30 feet in the water and orcas can swim up and chomp on them.
See, I'm just imagining like a moose is at the edge of a cliff going, "Come at me, come at me."
I was thinking of
Willie and shit up there.
What are you gonna do?
I was just thinking about an orca moving on land like the Godzilla, like Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
No, it's like
I'm gonna
because
get
there's such a big killer whale population between Oregon and Alaska, and that's where a lot of moose are, and they'll dive down. And so, yeah, killer whales.
Just find some moose antlers. Jesus.
Because the moose want to eat the vegetation at the bottom of the water, so of course
And they're like, I'm like the biggest thing around. I've never seen anything bigger than me. I'll be fine.
and then of course, sorry, Brennan. No, and then of course, like a moose is like, I'm the biggest thing. Who can mess with me? Orca comes up, surprise, motherfucker, and just chomp on him.
The wolf of the sea killed me.
Do you know that killer whales are called that? They're called the wolves of the sea.
It's got 10 times more cooler. Suck it,
it ended up being a good callback to when we were talking about airlifting wolves.
Airdropping an orca. Dropping an orca on the land.
God, what were we even talking about?
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. Ecosystems.
Damn.
What happened? How do we get all the way away from that?
That is because they were talking about how they need to kill the monsters to help the environment. And that reminded me. Of that was a tangent. Sorry, boys.
Thank you for that moose fact. I loved learning about that.
Think Pet Foolery. They're the ones he wrote a Dro comic about it, and then it's like, oh shit, that's real.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is apparently, I think this is a Japanese or a Chinese animation project, not an American one. So
yeah, gotcha.
Monster Hunter. I mean, not orcas.
Yes.
And then finally, Disney Pixar's new film, Turning Red.
Yo, is this one coming to theaters?
Yes.
So
good.
Should be.
Next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Better.
Yeah, I hope so. Pixar deserves that.
Yeah.
It always has. Yeah, ever since I heard the concept of this at D23, I was like, that sounds really interesting, which is basically, in case you didn't get it from the trailer, the little girl, whenever she feels any kind of anxiousness or anxiety, and it spikes up, she turns into a gigantic red panda.
Super cute.
I love it. I'm all about like Pixar in the post-Lasseter years, being willing to have their human characters look
unique
and different, and go for really strong and different styles.
We got that with Luca.
This looks vibrantly different from Luca. Like nothing about it says like this was made by the same studio, except like the animation is gorgeous still, and I'm so happy.
Yeah. This looks cute. It's gorgeous. Like I like in the beginning of the trailer when the mom is like trying to sneak onto the campus, and then the daughter turns into the giant red panda. It's like, oh no, we got to overbearing
when the mom kicks the security guard in the shin.
Yeah. Backstreet Boys is an interesting choice, but otherwise, like I'm here.
That's what makes you larger than life, baby.
I was really into this trailer because the Backstreet Boys. I was always more into the Backstreet Boys.
I thought it was used really well. I thought it was used really well for this trailer, and I'm like, I'm here. I'm here for it.
Next year.
Did you guys know that Backstreet's back?
All right.
And they're turning red.
I mean, they came back a few years ago, and like everybody cared for the movie, and then nobody cared after that.
I didn't even care about it.
Well, they're back again. So they came and said, "Oh my God, we're back again."
They had a really good comeback album about 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was the album that came out right after they came back in This Is the End.
Oh, I don't remember.
That's the one where they go to heaven, and it's like, look, it's right. Backstreet Boys. And it's like, cool. And everyone's like, right, Backstreet Boys. They released a new album, and it's like, no, but we only like old Backstreet Boys.
I really liked their comeback album, but I haven't listened to their newest album. I think they put one out. All right. Anyway, should we get into the topic?
All right.
Yeah. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. We are talking about Space Jam, A New Legacy.
Thumbs down.
The sequel to Space Jam, 1996's Space Jam with Michael Jordan. This one.
Are we doing one of our patented
this doesn't work.
Fake reviews?
This doesn't work on anyone who listened to the beginning where we were very clear. Or reads.
No, we are talking about the new Netflix original, Gunpowder Milkshake.
Netflix purchased.
Netflix bought.
I'm kind of bummed this movie didn't go to theaters, but then I also am like, maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I'm really happy I got the lyrics right to that song. Just want to take a moment to appreciate myself for a second.
There you go.
But yeah, so full spoilers for the new Netflix purchased film. It came out on Wednesday. We decided to talk about that because Space Jam looked awful and none of us wanted to see it. So this is full spoilers for this new action film. What do we think of it?
I'm gonna go first and then go to the bathroom.
Do it.
I had a good time.
Okay.
Since you're in the same box, Sparks.
Wow, this is beyond the box. I can reach past it. I visually love this movie. And then after that, my love for it starts to diminish in different ways for different aspects. Overall, I also enjoyed my time.
Ben.
It was fine. And I when I say it's fine, I legit mean it was fine. But it's definitely one of those movies that after it was done, I was like, okay, there's a few things that I have some problems with. But I also know this is definitely going to be one of those movies I'm going to forget about in a month. And if you said, hey, did you watch that movie? I'm like, what?
I really liked it.
That's good.
Hell yeah.
I had a good time. Well, let's get into it.
I also had a good time. I heard everything because the bathroom's not far. I agree. If this movie didn't look as good as it did, I might hate it, if I'm being honest.
I don't know if I'd hate it. I just might be like more casual about it.
I
look. There's a solid
there are moments in this movie I love.
30 minutes of this movie that I think is exceptional.
I agree, and but for me, that's where everything else kind of just like.
No, I get you. I think that this movie suffers from a really interesting problem where I think I don't want more movies. I don't want them to be setting up a sequel. But I also think that this movie tried to do two different movies plots at once.
Yeah.
And it should have only done one.
What are the two plots?
One plot is
kill the son.
Is like taking care of the girl and like separating from the firm. And the other is you killed this guy's son, and also you have to deal with this. And I'm like, and they're gonna kill the other librarian lady in their attempt to like get you back for killing the son. And I'm like, these are two different movies. Mm-hmm. They could have been and fleshed out these characters in this world more, but we made it one, and I think it's weaker because of it.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with that.
What are the 30 minutes that you think are exceptional?
From the moment that we encounter the
Monster Squad,
onto the laughing gas bozos
who have the paralyzed fight with her,
are for me like that whole section is. I'm like, that's some of the best stuff I've ever seen in any movie, and I want to get this one. I'm going to get this one right out of the gate. I think this movie was marketed wrong. A lot of people I've seen who have bounced off this movie have gone into it, and I totally get it, feeling like it was going to be like Lady John Wick. And that is not what this movie is. This movie is very much, whether it's intentional or not, done in the style of like the weird noir action-y kind of almost Western action-y. Yeah. And I do mean like Western gunslinger film, not Western concept. Of like a John Woo or
there was definitely
Kim Ji-woon's The Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
I love that movie.
This is visually in that style. It's playing in that space, and unfortunately, not all of the cast knows they're in that movie for some reason.
Yeah.
And the laughing bozos definitely know they're in that movie.
Yes.
Lena Headey definitely knows she's in that movie.
Karen Gillan,
not so much. And I really like her, but she doesn't know what movie she's in.
It bums me out because she's the person that we're following throughout the whole movie, and she's the person having the least fun in the whole movie. And I get that's her character. But I personally found her to be stiff and not in a fun way where that's the character.
And I thought it was fine in the beginning,
yes,
because I'm like, you have hardened yourself to everything, and I think that is coming across, and it's fine. But the girl and reuniting with her mom should have softened her up through the second half of the film to have more personality
Mm-hmm.
of her own. Watching her play off Lena Headey, who's like bringing more than Lena Headey usually would in a role like this anyway,
Mm-hmm.
As far as like charisma and chemistry
Mm-hmm.
to the scene, and Karen Gillan kind of being a wall half
She
the
doesn't
time.
really have a character.
And I know Karen Gillan's capable of more, so I'm like, I don't know why this choice had to be the choice.
Yeah, I think she was like supposed to be like the stoic badass kind of thing, and like I don't know if it worked for me.
Yeah, you talked a bit about the look of it. I actually, one of the things that I really like about this film is that it looks. I thought it recreated the kind of look it was going for really well, kind of neo-noir thing. I really like that.
I agree. That's why I said, like,
great. Yeah.
Visually, I love every moment of the movie, regardless of what's happening necessarily with characters on screen. The color, the setting, the shot choices, the cuts, all of it, gorgeous. I love every visual decision, 100%.
For me, the lighting is like the best part of the movie. The lighting in that fight scene, in the hallway of the doctor's office with the boneheads and Karen Gillan can't using her arms. I thought that was great. That was well choreographed. That was a really good action scene. I love a lot of the neon. I love the color. Like I almost called it neon punk for a hot second because it's dark almost everywhere they go, and there's those bright neon lights. I'm like, man, I dig this aesthetic.
It's really warm. It's a really warm movie in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. My biggest problem is how they kind of just like they rush through so many big plot points. And like Sparks said earlier, I think Sparks, you put this in a better way than I could, of how there's two plots in one movie and they don't mesh very well. And the one thing I was really looking forward to see was more conflict between the firm and McAllister. Because Karen Gillan was sent to kill McAllister's son, and then they just totally throw her under the bus. And she straight up says, like, you sent me to do this job. I did this job, and now you're burdening me for it.
That's business.
The more I think about it, it's like there could have been some really good, like during the diner sit-down scene, just be like, the firm sent me. And be like, what?
They could have worked
at the end.
He does
because he says at the end, I know you were just a hired gun. I know this wasn't your fault. You're the one. You're the one.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter to him.
No, the girl says that. He doesn't say anything like that.
Yes, he does.
He gives her a package. He helps her.
No, not Paul Giamatti.
Nathan. Sorry.
No, the McAllister, the bad guy, and the diner scene at the end. He says, "I know you were just a hired gun. I know that this wasn't your fault.
That's true. Yeah,
but I don't care.
Yeah, you still killed my son. Yeah.
I missed it because I missed that part because
either way, like my biggest thing is that most of the movie until actually something happened here that made us pause the movie and I recognized there was 25 minutes left. I assumed that going after the firm was still
the goal
of the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. That was a potential sequel setup, if anything. And I'm like, I think that was the miss.
Yeah.
Because for her and her mom, the firm is the problem, like the unifying problem, which is weird in terms of Nathan's character. But let's just remove Nathan's character from that discussion and just say the firm is the problem because the firm is also the person who had in their pocket the guy that killed her dad. And so like this has always been the issue. And it's very much portrayed as like the boys club and they've got the girls club and like, fine. But for me, like I would have not again, like kind of not really wanting them to go out wanting a sequel. But if you were to take on both of these plot ideas, I'd rather that this film was about like, yeah, we're separating from you because you accidentally killed that dude's son, but we don't actually get the follow through from that dude in this movie.
Yeah.
We know that happened, but it's why there's problems with the firm and they have to end their shit with the firm for this movie. And then in the next movie, because they ended their shit with the firm, it would be, oh, now you're not protected. So now that guy is coming for you for killing his son. And that would be that movie and like flesh out the librarian stuff more, make me care more about Carla's character before you kill her, make me be connected and invested in that whole side of it. And that's why I'm like, it's so the script is so clunky.
It's messy.
And at the heart of that is Nathan. I just don't know what he's supposed to be to them, because she's like, I never wanted this life for you, but she also explicitly left him with Nathan, who clearly just pushed her into the firm. It's not like he trained her outside of it in some kind of cool Alfred way.
Yeah.
He just was like, you're part of the firm now. And she's like, I never wanted this for you. And I'm like, why did you give her to Nathan? I don't understand that. And they never really explore that concept. And like, he clearly cares about them.
Yeah.
But is still a firm man. It's all so weird. Nathan is the most poorly like executed character in this film, because his connection to them is too vague and his motivation's unclear.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Music's great.
Yeah.
I really like the soundtrack in this movie.
It's going hard sometimes,
Yeah.
and I think that's fine.
I think the action for the most part is pretty good.
I think it gets better. I think the last action sequence is pretty good, and I really like the paralyzed arm sequence.
That
the
is
early one though. I was kind of like, oh, you're die choreographed.
I'm gonna be honest. The first 20 minutes, like, I was really worried about this movie. It took me 20 minutes to actually like anything in the movie, because at first I was just like, a lot of talking, not much action, kind of just like Karen Gillan being doing nothing. I'm like, oh my god, something's got to happen in this movie. And then we got to an action scene.
And also you get that opening action scene with a bunch of people, and she just points to start shooting, and then it just jump cuts to the end of the fight.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
What another action scene I really like is the scene in the library, especially when you go into the Enchanted Forest in the Endless Ocean, which I love. I love that set design, and I would
die to go there.
I would, if I could give like a bunch of money to my public library and make rooms like that, because that, I'm like, who wouldn't want to read books in an abandoned pirate ship? That'd be reading Treasure Island in that environment. That'd be freaking cool.
Every set piece is really engaging. Like, looks really great. Love it. I do need to amend my visual style comment. I love 95, maybe 97% of the visual choices in this film. There is a small percentage I don't, and it's some of the slow motion is bad.
The slow mo at the end, the final diner.
Not all of it,
yeah,
but some.
The diner shot at the end.
That's really not the one that got me.
Oh, really?
What got me is like, okay, Lena Headey's in the slow motion coming to her daughter, didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett and Michelle Yeoh in slow motion coming to help them.
Yes.
Little bit bothered me.
Yeah.
Slow motion to get back to Carla, really pushing it.
Yeah.
You reminded me of two things I wanted to backtrack onto. One is the diner slow motion sequence that Ryan brings up. One of my favorite moments in this movie happened in that, and it's because it was in slow motion, because it's just Angela Bassett's like pushes the guy and he's into this milkshake, and you just see the dude's face like realize, oh no, just like slams it into the milkshake.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny.
Michelle Yeoh, she loses an eye in that scene. Because Ben brought it up, I really wanted to talk about the library action sequence. It's cool that they got those rooms, but I really like the beginning of that action sequence when Karen Gillan is finding all this random crap in the books and has to fight with it. I thought that was really inventive and cool.
The gold bar. Yeah.
All I could do, the gold bar was really good. All I could do was think about this one dude who, like, his last thoughts before he died was, how'd a gun come out of that book?
Yeah.
I also really like in that moment that we get, Lena Headey has the two bayonets on the pistols, which I think is really cool.
So sick. That's so cool.
Angela Bassett and Michelle Yeoh get some action in that moment, and I really like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the secondly he puts the knives on her guns, I'm like, Final Fantasy VIII fan, I see.
Yeah, I will say, there's like the main henchman guy with the match in his mouth who kills Carla Gugino. I don't mind that he killed her. I just think it's kind of bullshit that like he just aimed willy-nilly and killed her that way. Because like at least it's like so lame. I thought it was just kind of lame. I'm like,
also the way he dies in the movie is lame. It doesn't come to a head in that moment. It's a passing thing in the slow motion at the diner that Michelle Yeoh just shoots him a couple times in the back. and that's
He
it.
jumps
It's
out
a
of
moment.
a window like a coward, and then because this guy looks so like when they drop the guns, like when him and Auntie Madeline,
Anime?
no, the
No.
I forget the librarian who was like proper, and she was my favorite.
Oh yeah, Carla Gugino.
Thank you.
Genuinely... Go ahead.
Yeah, when they like drop, like she gets the tomahawk and he takes out the brass knuckles. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then it's like the fight ends off screen. I'm like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
But we did get a payoff for Tommy Tomahawk, which I appreciated.
it's true.
I genuinely think that they had him jumping out the window because he's supposed to survive into the next movie, and they're like, it might just be this one movie. Shoot him. And
Yeah.
and like if they do get a sequel, they'll be like,
he survived.
lived.
Yeah, because that actor, he didn't have a big role in this, but like he was most recently in The Terror a couple years ago, which is an AMC joint, and he was awesome in it, like excellent, truly excellent. So like I really like this actor, and I'd like to see if they do make a sequel, make him survive, because like I think he's not in this movie enough to like make an impact, but like I know he's got it. He's got the goods.
Somewhere in here we found Dreykov's backstory. For those who might listen to our Black Widow review, I realized, this is what Dreykov needed, where the guy has this conversation, frankly making at least a slightly better impression than Dreykov did in Black Widow.
I actually really like the
speech.
speech.
Saying, I love my girls. I had girls. I painted the house pink, but I have 4 girls.
And I don't understand
them.
Then I have a boy.
They chitter-chatter their own way. And then I have a son.
And
I'm like, there's something in here where that kind of philosophy is the stuff I wanted in Dreykov.
Yeah. Yeah, because like again, this villain, this guy has not been in the movie that much, but now he ends up being our primary antagonist. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, bro. So luckily this little speech, I thought it was a good little speech of why he's a bad guy. But again, they didn't focus on him enough through the movie for me to really care.
Yep.
So and then they kill him. So I'm like, okay. Cool. Good action.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much more.
I really don't.
I thought it was.
I think the way that they stumble into allowing her to stab the Dracula mask wearing dude with
the steak. Yeah.
And him go, Brr!
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, the movie needs much more of this.
Yeah, those 2 scenes, like the monster mash fight scene, and then the dude with the wheelchair and the shotgun, and like she's just like spinning her arm to shoot a gun. I wish the whole movie was like that. I really do.
I can't tell you enough. Like I really do feel that this is very much like I could see this being made by the same guy who made The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. It's very much in that same vein. And I'm like, I think if every actor knew what it was, and maybe some of the script choices were tighter, this could work.
Oh, we haven't even mentioned it, but there's a little girl in the movie. I think she's really good. I think she's actually really good.
She's really good.
She's like crying. I'm like, man, she's really good.
No, Emily, I really enjoy in this movie. Karen Gillan just does not lighten up at all.
A little, but it's not enough. Like there are moments, like the moment when she's having to tell Emily that she killed her dad.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I know you're bringing it. It's just not always working.
I feel like that's an emotional. I'll give that part a little bit of a pass because that's a big emotional beat. But I'm talking just like you. I don't know, just like you're right, the whole movie she's stiff, whereas you get Lena Headey, who's got she's got personality, whereas I feel that there are times that Karen Gillan's delivering a line and she's delivering so monotonely that there's hardly any emotion there, but that's my character because I am a stone cold killer. That is who I am.
Yeah.
I think the thing is like, and it's a reasonable argument that I could definitely see around this, which is that, well, if it was a guy, would you say the same? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, sure. I guess that's
yes, because we don't like Mark Wahlberg when he's doing the same stuff.
I agree. I agree, but I'm like, they're thinking like when they say that they're thinking like John Wick does this, and I'm like kinda. But
also Keanu Reeves isn't the same type of actor.
Right, they're not the same type of actor, and they're not. It's not the same type of thing. Yeah, I get it, but the thing is like I don't think the story supports her being that hard ass the whole movie. That's the thing. If she were not engaging with her mom's story or this little girl, if that wasn't a part of her story and it was just, I need to be this hard ass because of what I got these mom issues and what I lost and all this kind of stuff, then I'd be like, she can be that way for the whole movie. Sure, I get why she's that way. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then everyone else can have other character stuff going on. The problem is that she's confronting the things that are at her emotional core, both through Emily by her own, like, her relationship to having family and feeling abandoned by her mom and that kind of thing. And then her and her mom, both of those things are being confronted in this film. So her character should be doing more. And I do think to some extent, it's got to be a script failing. It is also a performance failing. Karen Gillan's capable, but it's not happening here.
Nope.
Yeah. Shall we rate it?
Angela Bassett and Lena Headey definitely like banged in the history of this context of these films.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Like 100%. And I wish there was more of that overtly in this movie.
Yeah.
Because while I really love the concept of the library, the librarians, the actors playing them, they don't have enough actual character presence. Like all three of them feel like ideas of these actors playing these roles rather than like fully fleshed into the world characters. And weirdly, Lena Headey actually feels like a character living in this world. Again, I think this lends itself to, I think she knew what movie she was in more than the rest did, and knew how to play to those strengths more than the rest did.
Like for real, like those like the Laughing Gas guys are like in a completely different movie.
Which isn't me saying like that those ladies, Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, or Carla Gugino, aren't like playing very well and doing a good job.
They're not given a lot.
I think they are. I just don't think that they are substantiated by the script to have enough to do.
Yeah.
I think in a stronger film, we would have had the whole back half focusing on the mom and Karen Gillan and Emily's relationship with them as they battle the firm again, and like take away this McAllister plot and save that for another time and kill Carla in a different movie, because that would allow the focus to be there. It's also super weird that we reveal the librarians the way we do earlier in the film, when it feels like in any other movie, the reveal would happen when they end up at the library after she's with her mom.
Yeah.
Like we've heard about them talked about, and that would be the big, like, here they are moment. We've heard about them, but we have this weird kind of
They even have like an establishing shot them of like going to
that's
it.
My
yeah,
thing.
you're
I'm
right.
like, this is weird.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that earlier shot was like, no, you need to establish them more. And I'm like, I don't think you did. I think we could have heard about them the
That's a
way
good
we'd heard
point.
about them, like being left with them and that kind of thing, and then stumbled into the library. But again, the rest of the film needs to support them more than it does. And that's my biggest thing. I can't get over that hallway fight though. Like those bozos on Laughing Gas, like coming after her.
The dude
It's
with the
just so
crutch, he puts his leg up to be on
puts his-
support. Like I want the whole movie to be that. God, I would have loved it.
That was I was absolutely like enthralled through that whole sequence. I'm like, this is good
Dude,
stuff.
again, like the second Dracula's on the ground and she breaks his stick, and I'm like, come on, man, this is so good. And then it's just like back to
When she breaks them up, I'm like, oh, please tell me she's gonna stake them. That'd just be and she does. I'm like,
medium rare.
I love the idea of this world where like crime evolved linearly since the 50s. So like while technology has upgraded in some ways, crime is more or less played out on the same level as it was in the 50s. And the concept of the world that exists around that, I kind of like it's not,
The diner's really cool.
It's got its own like mindscape of how like crime operates, and I think it's really cool. Like everybody's codes is very vibrant and interesting. Like the idea that they're all like, we're just going to maintain tradition of the way that business is done since the 50s, as in contrast to like the more modern take of what John Wick does with like a hitman association. I just think is a really cool concept. And again, it is a world I wish I could have spent a little more time living in.
Yeah.
I talked about the music in this movie, but I wanted to just highlight also, I think the needle drops are really good. I think this film has a really good soundtrack. For whatever reason, I was thinking about this with Black Widow also, and I forgot to bring it up with Black Widow. I thought it had also really good needle drops. It has only, I think, 2 or 3, if I can remember, but I thought they're all well placed and really well done. For whatever reason, they reminded me of Captain Marvel, and the needle drops are kind of a problem. So I just kind of, for whatever reason, I wanted to bring up that I like the contrast of like these good needle drops. I noticed it more because of the Captain Marvel ones.
Yeah.
I also really like, there's some really just good offbeat comedy bits. one in particular is like when everybody, all the goons get the text message at the same time, and you
In the
show
bus?
the shot of them on the bus,
Yeah.
and then you cut to the one dude who hadn't made it all the way through the vent yet, and he's like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and like where all the different locations they are as they get the update, and I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good bits like that. I think they're very strong.
Yeah. Lena Headey flipping out at the guy at the chef in the restaurant, with the dirty freezer, killed me.
This freezer's a mess. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. Maybe you want to watch
Ramsay.
Dread again.
Dread is
yeah,
good.
she was really good in Dread.
That's what I mean. Is
I
like
watched that for Dan
Lena
Redmond.
Headey commonly is cast to play the role that Karen Gillan is playing here, and the fact that she like brought something more sentimental to the table is really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shall I rate it?
Okay.
Ryan, why don't you go first, since you said something?
I will give it a solid 7.
Sparks?
Yeah, I'd probably go about 7.5.
Ben?
Oh, no, I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah. I ain't mad at that.
7.5 for me. I enjoyed this one. Shall we get into our...
Yes, we can get into our book club. I was going to say, I like, because we just watched 2 action movies back to back. I like Black Widow more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely watch Black Widow over this first.
But I'm really glad we watched this instead of Space Jam.
Hundo.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. All right. Let's go into our book club.
Oh no.
I wanted to add, I think I like the action sequences more in this film than I did in Black Widow.
I'll agree with that.
I like some of them.
I like the character stuff so much more in Black Widow.
Yes, definitely. All right, Sparks, your book club, take it away.
We are doing Volume 1 of Something is Killing the Children by James Tynion IV, and that's the writer, and art by Werther Deladera, and colorist is Miguel Muerto, and the letterers and world design. All right. Hey guys, this is the first 5 issues of Something is Killing the Children. Ryan and I have already been reading this. It's a pretty cool series. A lot of people have compared it to like What If Buffy, but like more adult. And I kind of get it. I think that's maybe a little too broad of a thing to lump it into, but I understand the where that's.
If you got to do a elevator pitch for it, like
that is essentially
girl kills monsters.
That is getting to the heart of it.
Yeah,
sure.
yes. Obviously, it's more. Than that.
I think the strength of this personally is very much based in that these characters feel very relatable, in a sense of like how they engage with their emotions. I think the strongest thing about our lead protagonist
is that James Tynion IV.
Well, is that James Tynion is writing for sure, but also that she's very much like, even though she's like a kind of a hard ass, let's say that, like Karen Gillan, she's willing to open up in the sense of like not necessarily be vulnerable, that's not the term, but to recognize the vulnerability of others.
Yes.
And directly acknowledge it and say, I understand this is hard.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily opening themselves up entirely, but recognizing like, I know what place you're in.
Being understanding about it.
Yeah. And I'm going to try and work with you on it, especially like with the kid. Like I think in particular of a moment, like a little later in these 5 issues where she yells at him and then he's like, I'm really sorry. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. Like I'm in a thing and I know how you're hurting right now. Like I get it. And this is what I need. And I need you to understand it. And it's very like clear and concise in that way that I think a lot of protagonists, when they're put in the position that she is, don't seem to offer. There's not usually such an emphasis on like, I understand trauma and I'm going to treat you as a person who understands trauma, rather than say like, my trauma is really great and you don't get it, which is often the angle that it comes from. Like, you can't understand how bad I've had it, so why don't you pick yourself up? That's a lot of the attitude that tends to come. Whereas rather this is much more like, I've been traumatized by shit. I know how that feels. And I'm here to, I want you to know I'm trying to support you. I'm also trying to do a job. Yeah. And I think that's probably some of the strongest stuff about the series. I want to hear what you guys think though.
I like the series a lot. I first of all, I love that it starts slow. It is a slow burn. It's getting to know these characters. It's a slow mystery that builds up over time. And now that it's on issue like 17, I'm absolutely going to catch up because I have all these comics.
Me too.
I really, really like this comic, you guys. I really do. James Tynion is a guy who I've been not negative, but I've just been mediocre on his previous comics. But the last couple of years, as you said earlier, Brandon, he's been knocking it out of the park. And this is really good stuff. Like this and Department of Truth are so good, and he has such a good grasp on like interpersonal relationships. More than almost anyone writing today. Like the simple stuff that you're talking about. Not a lot of comics have that kind of stuff.
No, I know.
And the way
not a lot of genre television that does the same kind of like basic concept of the role the protagonist does it either.
And like you described it so well, and I love that in these 5 issues we really don't get a lot of the story. It's because like you just got to be along for the ride, and like the end of issue 5, it's revealed what like the new threat is, and it's horrifying.
Well, because you said like I just piggybacking off that before we go to the others, because you said like you don't get a lot of story in these 5 issues. Like what you get is a lot of really good like character work.
Yeah,
and like it's a character first thing and story second, and I think that it serves the story, the whole thing, the whole piece very well. What's up, guys?
Ben?
Yo, I really enjoyed this. Sparks, you said earlier this was like what if Buffy but for adults. I felt more of a Stranger Things vibe, if anything, because these kids are trying to find a monster that Jimmy thought he made up, but turns out it was actually real. And you get this cop who is really trying to like figure out what the hell's going on, and people are accusing him of being in someone's pocket, and he's on his last thread. The sheriff's on the last thread, and he doesn't know what's going on. And you have the older brother. What's the older brother's name? The one who's the brother of Sophie.
Tommy.
It's been a couple days.
Hold on one moment. Let me see if I've even got it on one of my pictures. Nope. But I'm pretty sure it's Tommy.
Yeah. So for sake of argument, let's call him Tommy. But like when Tom, like I love the panel. When really got me is like, oh shit, adults can't see these beasts. Is when he turns around and he's going to the car after he leaves his mom's house, and we see the monster, but the reflection in the window of his car of his windshield, there's no monster there.
It's so good. Oh my god.
So I specifically took a picture of this moment because it's probably my favorite page in these first 5 issues, because you see him and the monster, but you see his reflection so clearly in the page that he's not seeing the monster.
Ben, this is Bloodborne shit.
It's not it's not just relying on the words. It's conveying, like, this is a beautiful page just because it conveys so effortlessly. Like if the word bubble wasn't there of him saying, is anybody there? I would still know he doesn't see that monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so good. The reflection of the car being used for that is genius.
And also like skipping to the end of the trade, when she knocks him in the head and gives him the sight essentially to see this monster in him, and he just goes, oh shit, this is real. Because he was thinking like this girl is this Erica. I love Erica, by the way. I get that she's a hard ass, but also, like you said, Sparks, I love how she does, like when she does yell at Jimmy and he says, I'm sorry. She's like, no, you're hurting.
Isn't her name Erica Slayer?
Erica Slaughter.
Erica Slaughter. What a name. What a name.
The cop is like, that's not your name. And it's like,
it's a real name.
Slaughter's a real last name. And he's like, that's not your real last name.
Yeah.
It's like, you printed this at Kinko's. You didn't even laminate it. She's like, yeah, sure.
That's good.
I forgot one of the news items was about Something Is Killing the Children. Tate Bromble, who did Barbalian, is doing a Something Is Killing the Children spin-off.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. Yes. James Tynion said if Something Is Killing the Children is his Hellboy, then this series is his BPRD, his like side anthology stories of all stuff's happening in the world. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I meant to put it in the news, but I forgot. I really like this. I really like. I've liked James Tynion since Justice League Dark. He had a run. Tynion, thank you. Since Justice League Dark, he did the first run of the Rebirth Justice League Dark. Mm-hmm. And this reminded me a lot of The Woods, in a sense, in tone. Because this for whatever reason, everything about this book, when it first came out, I thought it was The Woods. I didn't realize that The Woods was its own separate thing and ending soon when it came out. Yeah, I don't know if I have too much to say other than that, though. I did really like it, and you guys have pretty much covered what I liked about it. I like the characters a lot, and I like the main character, and the design of the creature is super cool.
I do.
Yeah.
I do like this. I love how the use of color, just black and red, because obviously those two colors complement each other very well in very different ways. But just to see how most of this creature is, like, we don't see any defining features of it. Mostly, you just know, okay, there's the mouth, there's drooling blood, that, or we assume is drooling blood, and it's just terrifying. It is easily something that you can see in a nightmare. Like Brian, you said earlier, it's Bloodborne shit. This is easily a Bloodborne monster you have to fight.
Oh yeah.
The visual like horror of his friends being killed
Oh yeah.
is so visceral.
His friends reaching out for him, and then the next panel, like he's cut in half. Like, oh my
I
god.
can't feel my
haven't
leg.
seen-
Yeah.
I haven't seen something like that in the comic book.
It's
I don't think ever.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
mean,
insane.
I've seen clips of gore porn horror,
Mhm.
but for some reason, just watching James or reading James see his friends get literally eviscerated.
Oh man, it's literally James Tynion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what he looks like. He wears glasses and like that.
Yeah.
He's writing himself.
Tynan.
Yeah.
Okay, the I before the O is messing me up.
I know. He's talked about it. That's why I'm just saying.
His blog is called Tiny Onion. So think of that. Tiny Onion, Tynan.
Tynion.
The whole thing, just real quick, like he's talked about before. He's like, so yeah, the whole thing is that when their Irish ancestors came over through Ellis Island, they refused to like spell it the way it's supposed to be, and so they spelled it wrong because he's like, it's supposed to be spelled Tynan, and his family's just stubborn, and they were like, we still pronounce it the way it's supposed to be said, but it's spelled stupid.
I love the world building in this book because they give us so very little of it in these first 5 issues. But like Erica's clearly working for some organization. There's a dude with a dragon.
There's an asshole.
There's a dude with a
asshole.
dragon tattoo that's been like crossed out. He's like working for some big organization. I love the introduction of all the characters and how like we meet them at different points, and then of course they all like come together. I think it's just so well done. Again, I think the pacing is so good. That's it. The pacing.
I agree with the pacing thing. I wanted to bring up that I really I got a lot of vibes from Witches when we were seeing the kids die. Although I don't think Witches ever actually went that hard in it. It did remind me like he was like the writer was kind of doing his own take on what Jock does in general in that moment. I thought that all worked really well.
I could definitely see why you got the Witches in your head, because it reminded me of Witches a little bit too, but I feel like Witches was a little more grotesque.
Yeah.
In what the witches were, like when we saw a witch, whereas this one, like I want to talk about earlier about why I like the design of this monster so much is because there's no detail. It's just a black mass.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you look into going to Bloodborne again, sorry guys, when you go to Bloodborne and when you see the detail, the absolute grotesque Lovecraftian horror detail of these monsters, it sears in your mind. But with this one, it's just a void.
It's like Attack the Block.
Yeah, it's a monstrous void. Yeah, it is exactly like Attack the Block monsters. It's just a monstrous void where all you know is there's a mouth there and that can chop me in half.
So I'm gonna spoil the ending of issue 5 because we're talking about it. But like, it's what made me want to immediately keep reading. Like, there's different classes of monsters. Oh, this is a class. We thought this was a class 5E or class 5B. Whatever this monster was, it now is making monsters out of children. So the next volume, it's like you have to hunt down children. So now Erica is the one killing the children. That's incredible. Like it's always going to be about what's killing the children. The
kid who they find in that nest when she's like, I'm okay, I'm not dead. I'm like, you're a monster.
And Tommy's little sister just dead in the pile.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
The art's so good. Like I'm not familiar with this artist, but like this is like a career making book, like for real.
No, this is definitely. I accidentally, because when I was reading this book, I read it elsewhere and then it wasn't in a trade format, so I had the issues to me. I accidentally read up to issue 6 instead of issue 5. But even though I went another issue over, I kind of was like, man, kind of want to really go back to this book because I really enjoyed it.
It would not take you long to catch up.
Yeah.
You know,
it would not.
we're
3 volumes are out.
yeah, we're only 17 issues into the series, so
yeah, and just because the more like you guys said, it's a slow burn, but the more I read, the more I was intrigued, the more I wanted to know. Like you see the asshole, you see the tattoo. It's like there's a monster killing cult up in here. I want to know what's going on. You get the kid who has his sight now. It's like, is he going to join the monster killing cult now? What exactly? I like Erica's eyes. Her eyes are much bigger than everyone else.
She has anime eyes. Yeah.
You can I mean, no pun intended here, but she has seen some shit.
Yeah.
Both literally and figuratively, and also the
octopus?
masks. What?
That's the octopus.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask any questions about the octopus? No, you can't, Jimmy. You can't ask any questions about the octopus.
I love that. I love it.
That octopus is freaking haunted. Holy
Also,
shit.
like, it's such a simple design, but like it's like it is already so classic of just like the monster mask that she wears. And just like the evil grin, like that's so simple, but like that, like I immediately like that
Iconic.
is iconic. That is like I will always know. Oh, that's something's killing the children. Like that is like that's so cool. Like how
a cosplayer can literally be a blonde-haired girl in a tank top with black pants, but she has that bandana. And you're
Exactly.
like, something's killing children.
yeah.
They
It's
sell
like
that. They sell that mask. They've been selling that mask since the pandemic started.
that's
Yeah, it's smart.
I'm gonna get one.
That
maybe.
is- I'm not gonna lie. When I saw her wear the bandana, I was like, hold up, isn't that one chick from Kada, the League of Legends K-pop band? Because one of them wearing the mask with the teeth. I was like, man, she's going hard.
Yeah.
I want to highlight the moment, very first time before this, when I first read the first issue, that made me go, oh, I'm gonna like this book. It's actually Jimmy talking to the principal. It's the principal saying like, man, I shouldn't be unloading on you like this, and it's like, no, I like you. You know, the old guy, he never swore or cried in front of me, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing a hell of a job. And he's just basically like, you know, are you doing all right? You take care out there. Here it's movie day. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not all right. Not even a little. And he's like, yep.
That's life.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm like, that's so like
so real.
genuine
Yeah.
in a way that just like most stories and comics are part of that. But like just stories in general won't go that mile with stuff like this, traumatic events with bit characters. Like we never see the principal again. It's just this one moment.
Yeah.
Like the principal hasn't come back. At least as far as I've read in the series. And like, it's still so important to have these different levels of like, there are the people who are like blaming him, or the people who are afraid of him or bullying him, or the people who are ambivalent about it or just kind of feel sorry. And to have like just a side character, some minor character interaction that conveys like, hey, I just know this sucks and I'm sorry.
And I'm here for you.
It's just uncommon.
I cannot tell you how much of a breath of fresh air it was to see someone in an educator role like this principal just be like, you okay? Just like talk, because I feel like with a lot of educators, and even what some educators are, especially with my experience growing up, they really have to. They always set themselves up as like, this is a bad analogy. I'm sorry, but it's like, I am master, you are pupil, you learn from me. They only talk to you on a personal level when either you're out of their grade or you left the school entirely.
Yeah.
So seeing this educator character just be like, yo, dude, you all right? Yeah, like just straight offering is like, hey, you want to go home for the rest of the day? I ain't gonna get mad at you. Go home, relax. Oh, it's movie day. You enjoy that movie. Sorry, you're feeling like crap. I'm feeling like crap too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of really great stuff in this story. And I do think it's all just like these characters are really good. They feel very present, very real, very relatable, even though they're going through like things that are not what we go through, but the pain is understandable. And it's translated well. I think the last pages of issues are always really good. The one where the only time we have seen so far in these 5 issues, what the octopus actually looks like, which is when she opens the
oh my god, it's like
door,
a
and it's like
a golden goddess.
Yeah, it's spirit.
Like half mermaid.
A lot of great stuff in here.
Yeah.
I'm truly stoked to have shared this with you guys. I hope you guys pick up the rest of the series at some point just to like peruse through it, because I'm definitely gonna work on catching up now.
Yeah. My last thoughts are because obviously we read a new comic every week, and like some comics, 5 issues, you'll have a whole entire story, and like I love that like we've gotten to just the beginning, and it's like we've gotten to just know who these characters are, so like they can go through the big shit later. Because it's gonna be like so much more satisfying on like issue 20 or whatever. So like I'm glad I've been picking the series up, and I can catch back up.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I'm definitely gonna not trade weight, but I'm definitely gonna pick up the trades when I see them.
Sure. Like it's doing well. Like you don't.
This is a good one.
This isn't one you got to be like worrying about. Well, I gotta show my support. Like it's doing fine.
It's got a movie,
like,
TV series coming out.
Yeah. But like, you want to pick up the support. Like absolutely.
It's definitely. It is definitely a book that when next time when we go to a comic book convention, I'm gonna have my list of books I'm gonna need to pick up. It's gonna be Immortal Hulk, Something's Killing the Children. These are the volumes I need. Let's see how many I can get.
Just in these last couple weeks, they announced the first deluxe edition that's collecting the first 15 issues. It's coming with a nice like big slip cover if you want it. It's like $48 if you don't, but if you get the slip cover, it's $60. But the slip cover is like all black with her mask design on the front. And so anyway, that's out there. I'm just glad we did it because if there are listeners who like, you're probably going to want to check this out at some point because I'm sure when the show hits, it's going to go big.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to check this out, like get in now while it's easy.
Easy peasy.
All right,
Any final thoughts, Brandon?
No, I mean you guys said pretty much everything I would have said.
Okay.
Shall we get out of here then?
Who's next book club?
It's
that was
Ben.
me. And guess what, guys? For once, I actually know exactly what I want to do.
What is it?
So, unfortunately, last week, Richard Donner passed away, and I bought this book essentially because it has his name on it. I've always wanted to read it. I never had a chance to, so of course, I mean, it sucks that he passed away. It sucked that for Richard Donner to pass away to get me to read it. It is Superman, Last Son, by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner as the writers, and Adam Kubert is the artist.
Yay, Adam Kubert.
We don't know what it collects at that point, right? Is it Action Comics or is it a miniseries?
I'm not 100% sure. All I know is it doesn't really say on the back exactly what it collects.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Very cool. Looking forward to reading that.
Superman.
Next week, we're going to be recording this on a Saturday. Just heads up. And we're going to be talking about Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
Snake Eyes.
So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And then Jungle Cruise and then the Suicide Squad. So, we got a fun couple weeks.
Okay. Superman Last Son. The first 3 parts were published as Action Comics 844 to 846. Then there was a delay to give Kubert sufficient recovery time from health issues. So the 4th part was delayed and released as issue 851. And then the 11th annual of Action Comics completed the story.
So it's 5 total issues. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. What were the first 3 issues?
844 to
Okay.
846.
For whatever reason, I thought you said 444, and I was like, that's quite a gap to wait for Kubert.
No, 844 to 846. Then they bounced around on 4 other issues before they came back for 851, and then followed up with the annual.
Nice.
Yeah. Very cool. So stay tuned for that, and of course, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
See you, Mag. Bye, Mag. Thanks.
Good night, Mag.
Good night, Mag. Also, Mag, thank you so much for sending me pictures of Super Nintendo World when you went to Universal Studios. It's under construction right now, and it looks gorgeous. And man, I cannot wait because I've been watching a whole lot of videos about going to Japan and to that theme park, and I really want to go.
Seeing how high he was going to get. All right, you can check out our other shows. Our audio shows. Conversation, new episode out soon. And of course, you can check out the rest of our YouTube channel. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. You can check out our other stuff. We've got our Fake Nerds Watch. The last episode of Loki, Fake Nerds Watch, is coming. That's coming this week, episode 6.
We conquered that Fake Nerds Watch, all right.
Yeah, we did.
I can't believe it.
And
I can't believe it that we conquered it.
What?
And then we have the What If series will be our next Fake Nerds Watch coming soon. That's August 11th, so sometime after that will be that. Other Fake Nerds Watches are in the pipeline. Ben and I. Oh wait, no, we might be doing this as Animation Station. Whatever, we're doing the thing. It'll probably be up sometime by the end of the beginning of next week, I think we hope to do, of the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy. We're going to do season 2 and then season 3 when it drops.
Optimus.
And I'm hopefully going to partner with Cookie from Just a Little Podcast to do Star Trek Lower Decks Fake Nerds Watch.
Hell yeah. I love it.
I need to sign up for a free trial for Paramount Plus again so I could watch that show. I loved it so much.
Or you could...
okay. Cool, thank you.
I want to cough too. Cough.
Hopefully myself, Cookie, and Mike and Sheila from the now defunct Hardly Heroes will get together and do some Star Trek Fake Nerds watches.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we talked about doing Discovery Season 4 and then Picard Season 2 when it drops, so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
And you can check out our Basement Arcade series that's up here, and our Basement Arcade Pause Menu series, both of which are available on this channel, and Fake Nerd Book Club, currently on hiatus. You can check out our back catalog of that, where we talk about some pretty cool comics, guys. It's a comic book thing. If you like comics, you like the Fake Nerd Book Club. And you can check out, that's also an audio, you can check out our newest show, Animation Station, which I mentioned a little bit up top. Sparks' inaugural show. It's our freshman show where we talk about animation and the like. Well, guys, we thought we beat it, but the Delta variant is apparently pretty bad.
You thought I was bad. Wait till you meet my variants.
It's a good one. So hey, we still have masks. Fake Nerd Podcast masks. You want some more masks? Get some masks.
If you're unvaccinated, please wear masks. But also, more importantly, please just go get vaccinated.
Real quick, not that they listen to this podcast, but this girl at work, she's like, "Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna get vaccinated," and I had to walk away before I said something mean because, like, you're just dumb. Sorry.
Someone really close to Megan and I hasn't gotten vaccinated yet, and also almost did international travel soon.
Oh yes,
and
that's right.
Been vaccinated, and I'm like, yo, I really I don't know how much longer you can push this.
One of my. Do I know this person?
No.
Oh.
No.
Also, real quick for me, when I was at Lost Levels today, a bunch of people were coming in not wearing masks, and luckily some of them, they're like, "Oh yeah, we do," and they put them on, which is fine. But there were a few who were like, "Oh, we have to wear those again." Like, yeah, LA County, we have. There's a mandate up, and they were all kind of grumpy about it, and I'm just like,
saying as a person who in their workspace, like, very few people who come through my workspace anymore are wearing masks, whether that's the people visiting or the people who are working there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you are vaccinated, I'm like, you know what? It's your reward. Like, go ahead. I'm still wearing one, but that's a personal preference. Like, you go crazy. But if you're not vaccinated, like, yeah, just please wear them, or you're going to get sick and it sucks. Like, yeah. And I think that the thing that, again, like, I'm going to stress, just, I don't know who listens to us that wouldn't be vaccinated or still is listening, who would care, but like, know that it's not just dying. Like, coronavirus can still suck in a lot of ways. There are people who got sick and they haven't recovered their senses of taste or smell, or their breathing. Like, you don't want this. So just please go get vaccinated.
Yeah. I count myself lucky for getting off as scot-free as I did.
Yeah.
Links in the description to our masks.
Yeah. Sorry, I got too real. Apologies, Brandon.
You can check out.
I guess we're clearly all frustrated a little with society.
I mean, it's just funny because like my final thoughts on this, because I can't talk about it anymore. But like at work, we were like, man, like are they going to lift the mask mandate or whatever? And then like a day later, it's like LA County's back to wearing masks inside, and we're just like, this is never ending. It's like it's a nightmare.
It's a cycle we can't ever truly.
People
escape.
are just too dumb. It sucks.
Right.
Links in the description.
Links in the description for our masks. And of course, you can support us on Patreon. We got 4 tiers up on Patreon. Our current shirt is "Don't Be a Dick," which ended up being relevant. You can subscribe to that on the $10 tier. But you gotta be subscribed for the whole 3 months to get it. I'm not gonna none of this 1 month crap.
One and doners.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Damn, new rules.
But because if you subscribe like a day before the 31st or whatever, I'll do it. Yeah, whatever.
I was gonna say, like, what if we get like the $10 subscribers who subscribe in the last month?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you subscribe on what the hell month? July 1st, and you end your subscription on July 31st, no.
Playing fast and loose with our subscribers, I see.
I mean, or I might not.
If
care.
you gave us $10 and then dipped, no.
Run under their house and you take the shirt back.
I mean, I have to send them. I don't care. All right, maybe I won't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Or subscribe to our $1 tier. It's a lot cheaper.
It's only $1.
Our TeePublic also, you can check out. We have tons of other merchandise up on our TeePublic. Mask, actually. Mugs, stickers, wall art, throw pillows. Someone buy a throw pillow, please.
Oh my god!
I really want to know who would do that. And you can check out our website where you can find all these links, as well as linked below at fakenerdpodcast.com. Thank you to everyone who listens, and thank you to everyone who watched our live stream, and thank you to everyone who watched the replay. Just thank you to everyone who supports us in that way. Regardless of the old grump that just left the room, I love all of our supporters, no matter how long you do it. And you can check out. Thank you to Jerry Bellucci, who did our intro music for the whole episode, as well as all of our themes for our spinoffs. You can find him at Jeremy Bellucci Keyboards. He has a podcast, Suburban Proctologist. You can find that on iTunes or Facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at SubProc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola, who's done our logos for us, and hopefully we'll do a collaboration soon. Now that Loki is over, August is pretty empty, so we'll see.
Yeah.
This one. This is a pretty cool logo right here.
For you audio listeners, it's the Fake Nerd Podcast logo that's pointing to. And you can check out him at Mike Matola. He's doing I think a short film right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or it's a feature length. I don't mean to assume the length of your film. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me just trying to get through this California heat at Ben Mac at 27. I didn't have a funny one this time. But also, you can find me writing for Old School Gamer Magazine. Hey, guess what? There might have not been a new Old School Gamer Magazine article that came up for this episode. That's because I was writing it before we started recording. But one is coming, and it might show up later tonight or maybe tomorrow. Depends on when I need to go to sleep. But yeah, oldschoolgamermagazine.com. I talk about old school video games, Basement Arcade, Pause Menu, and other episodes in the works. And when I say in the works, it means I need to talk to people and see if they can come on. But yay.
Sparks.
Are you people? I'm people. Are you people?
No, I'm Ryan.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a person.
You can find me keeping that Shark Week train going at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
I just remembered the joke. I'm not a people person. I'm barely a person.
There you go. Yeah.
Ryan.
Hey guys, DJ Tony Snark everywhere, all the time.
All right, subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. And until next week, guys,
beware the wolves of the sea.
Stay fake nerds.